Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we are going to be doing the opening part of What If Goku Was Reborn with all of his memories. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Now this story begins in the Moro arc of Dragon Ball. Moro has reached his true power, having absorbed 7-3. Goku is covered in his own blood along with lethal wounds and is on his last legs. Goku in his base form only has the strength to enter Super Saiyan. Moro chuckles after seeing Goku advance toward him with such little power left and punches him out of Super Saiyan. Now in his base form, Vegeta has been defeated and lays next to him. I wish I was stronger, I wish I could go back in time to defeat him, Goku thinks to himself, before being hit by an energy wave. He is engulfed by it completely and just smiles as his body disintegrates. Suddenly though, he opens his eyes and shoots up from a bed that he is currently in. What's happening? He asks himself, touching his body. He can see that he is now a child and is within Grandpa Gohan's home. Things are very confusing, but he soon realizes that his call was heard. He has been reborn. Initially his power level is around 8 or so and he can't do much, however he still has all the mind to complete the abilities that he knows, but just without the physical body along with it. While training, he secretly performs the Kamehameha and sees that he can do it just fine. He also uses instant transmission and things that don't really require a strong body, just technique. He can also fly with ease, just not very fast at all. He doesn't want his life to drastically change here because he won't meet people that significantly change his life. The people around him that grow to become his friends don't know him just yet, and he'll have to meet and befriend them in similar ways to have a similar relationship with those people in the future. What changes initially is that Goku absolutely never looks at the moon. Grandpa Gohan doesn't then die since he knows what will happen if he does. His first instinct is to remove it though. However, he still sees a use for it and hopes to control the power of the Uzaru to add to his arsenal of techniques. Being given a new shot at life, he can make sure to learn all of the techniques that he hadn't done before so that when it comes to facing Moro once again, he will be ready. The Pilaf arc goes similarly, and Goku interacts with his friends in a way so that it is. When they are trapped by Emperor Pilaf, Goku is forced to use the power of his Uzaru form. Goku never learned how to properly use it, and so he just goes ballistic and loses control. However, his mindless fury and power is exactly what they need in that situation to escape the prison. By the beginning of the tournament saga, Goku had been training with Grandpa Gohan and training himself more. Goku definitely got more hardworking over the years, and with an adult man's discipline within a child's body, he can make much more progress. He is also wise after receiving divine training from people like Whis, so he knows exactly what he needs to do to get stronger. He grows to a power level of 50 at the beginning of the Turtle School training and reaches a power level of 160 by the end of it. He already knows the techniques that Master Roshi can show him and is an elite warrior compared to everyone around him. He has had divine training under angels and decades upon decades of fighting experience. All of this really shows once they get to the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. Goku faces Giran in the quarterfinals of the tournament and makes quick work of him. He tries to use his merry-go-round gum to keep him in place, but the Saiyan rips out from the gum with sheer force alone. He then finishes the being off with a Kamehameha wave that takes him out. For the semi-finals, Krillin faces Jackie Chun, and just like usual, he is defeated. Goku is up against Nam, who nobly fights to help his struggling village. However, he is coming up against a much stronger Goku now. Nam rushes ahead to try and punch the child Goku, but his attempt at doing so is futile. He evades the punch and kicks in one of his knees to then punch him to the edge of the arena. Nam though raises back up onto his feet with trembling legs. He can't stand to accept defeat, knowing how much suffering the people of his village have to go through. The money prize of this tournament has to be his and he won't lose here. He screams and leaps into the air to then try and dive down and use his special technique, the cross arm dive. He makes his arms into an X shape and shoots himself down like an arrow. However, before Goku is hit, he evades quite easily and kicks him off the ring entirely. Jackie Chun, after seeing his bravery and valiance, doesn't want Nam to leave empty-handed. He respects his cause and hands him a capsule with plenty water for him and his village to use. The final match has come, and this is between Jackie Chun and Goku. Jackie Chun knows how much of a prodigy Goku is, and if he wants to prove to him that there will always be a stronger fighter out there, he'll have to go all out. Jackie Chun begins his fight by entering his buff form. His shirt rips and he shoots off to Goku to try and land the first punch. Goku's first instinct is to dodge using his instant transmission, but he doesn't want to reveal much yet. He could try to use Ultra Instinct, but his body is far too too weak to even use a slither of the technique. He just takes the punch and feels quite hurt by it. He can take the hit though and swiftly launches out his Kamehameha wave. Jackie Chun is taken aback with how fast he can deliver it and how strong the blast is for how strong he is. This really shows the true mastery he has over the technique. He can't form the same blast in time and all he can do is evade. The blast hits the wall behind him and explodes, then Goku shoots forward in his direction. In one stride he can shoot himself at Jackie Chun, but he is secretly using flight to push himself further. He lands a punch of his own and the two warriors continue their fight. For now they seem like equals, but Jackie Chun does not have all the time in the world. This form of his should only be used in short bursts, for things like a single final attack. You can see that he is doing some damage to Goku because he is faster and stronger, but he seems quite nimble and technical for his size and age. He is very hard to hit nonetheless, and Jackie Chun is growing very tired. Seeing that there is little left that he can do, he steps back and begins charging his ultimate attack, his full power Kamehameha wave. Using the last of his strength, he launches the blast and Goku retaliates with a blast of his own. The two blasts collide and push at each other fiercely. Goku's initially seems weak and there is little that he can do. He can see the blast approaching him and doesn't want to lose here. The only things that come to his mind is trying to use Super Saiyan and Kaioken. The basic form of Kaioken could be enough, but his body just isn't at the level to use that form yet. Therefore he takes a gamble and uses his Super Saiyan form. Just as he expected, he can use grade 4 and doesn't feel much strain on his body at all. He easily overpowers Jackie Chun's blast and pulls up his blast so that he just misses his master. With a 50 times multiplier, Goku's current power level is 8000. Before his master can properly see him, he returns to his base form, but Yamcha and Krillin see him clear as day. Did you see that? His hair went blonde for a second, Krillin says with surprise. Blonde? There's no way, Yamcha says. They see his hair fall down and return to black, then they look at each other with confusion. Goku makes sure that the Red Ribbon Army saga goes similarly. However, Tao Pai Pai is taken out much more quickly by Goku, who uses Super Saiyan to finish him off in a flash. Goku and his team are looking for the final Dragon Ball and are subduing pretty much all the fighters of the Red Ribbon Army, and there is only 4 fighters that Fortune Teller Baba can send to fight Goku because Grandpa Gohan is still alive. They subdue the fighters then and receive the Dragon Ball that they wish to acquire. What comes next is the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. With Goku being much stronger now, with a power level nearing 300, he ends up training with Master Roshi as his main sparring partner. He doesn't make much progress since he is much weaker than him. He can help his master grow much more though. This means that Master Roshi grows during his training too, allowing himself to use his buff form for longer. Krillin has become slightly stronger from facing a stronger version of Goku. Seeing Goku being much stronger and lauded as a strong warrior at this rendition of the tournament makes him even more willing to perform. Goku did win the entire tournament before, and so many of the spectators coming to watch this remember him. Goku faces Pamput and of course, like before, completely destroys him. Things get more intense with the fight between Jackie Chun and Tien. As the fight continues, Jackie Chun can see that Tien will not be able to defeat him. Master Roshi's power has grown and so he won't be losing here. The two warriors continue to fight and Master Roshi realizes that Goku did not stop training after winning his first tournament. As a result, he doesn't see why he should try and stop him once again. Knowing how strong his trainee is, he doesn't even think that's possible for him. He is still worried about Krillin, but he thinks that Goku will be strong enough to defeat him anyway, therefore he decides that he's had enough of stepping into these tournaments. Tien and Master Roshi face each other, both covered in bruises. Tien's teacher Shen is surprised with how strong his previous rival is. Even in his old age, he resembles a young fierce warrior. He steps off the ring as his body shrinks down to its ordinary size and Tien is allowed to move on to the finals, even though he would have lost. Since Master Roshi would have beaten Tien, this means that Tien is in for quite a lot in the finals. Goku faces Krillin and doesn't want to go all out on his friend. He gives Krillin the chance to learn as they fight, slowly increasing his strength as time passes so that Krillin can adapt himself. Soon enough, he ends up using enough power to surpass Krillin's own strength. Krillin, bruised and panting, begins charging up his very own Kamehameha wave. He launches it with a shout and Goku shoots his very own, but with only one arm. The two blasts collide and push at each other powerfully. Goku is pushed back slightly, but even just with one arm he can hold the human's blast back. Jackie Chun and Yamcha watch on in amazement at how strong this small boy seems to be now. He can push the blast back and slowly walks across the arena, making Krillin side away in retreat. Eventually, Krillin loses his footing and is eliminated. Goku helps him up and the final match is between Goku and Tien. This time he wants to show off the power of the Turtle School and aims to finish him off in one fell swoop. Tien rushes at Goku and tries to attack him. He seems angrier than Goku remembers, and this is because of his humiliating win over Jackie Chun. He didn't even win by defeating him, and from the fight wasn't going to win if the fight continued. Goku enters his Super Saiyan form just like before and lands a single punch before returning to his base form. He enters the form for below a second, but the fighters can see this transformation more clearly. His punch was light, but Tien still crashes through an entire wall and is left unconscious. Tien, holding his head after the tournament is over, gives Goku his respect for defeating him so easily. Goku respects him and says that he is a good fighter. In the end, Goku knows what is about to happen. Krillin is about to die for the first time. He has been training and believes that he should be strong enough now. In Super Saiyan, he could easily defeat his Saiyan Saga self that fought Vegeta. He remembers the Matthew burn when he is at Master Roshi's home. He sees the rice cooker in the corner of his kitchen. Goku deliberately leaves his stuff at the tournament and Krillin offers to go there to get his stuff back for him like he did in canon. However, Goku is persistent and says that he'll go himself. Heading back to the tournament, he stands ahead of his Dragon Ball to meet Tambourine. "It's you," Goku says, clenching his fists. He can feel anger bubbling inside him as he sees the person that killed his best friend in his past life. Tambourine is taken aback by his statement because he has no clue who this young boy is. Goku powers up into his Super Saiyan form and he blows Tambourine back with his aura alone. Tambourine is simultaneously awestruck and horrified by the ethereal golden being. Goku rushes at him and punches him once, launching him through the entire building. Goku doesn't want to kill and he isn't like his Red Ribbon self. He did kill people in his time facing the Red Ribbon army in his second life, but that was only because he made sure things would go similarly to how they happened in his past life. Goku zooms at him again and kills him with just his second punch. His fist goes right through his entire body and chest. Blood covers his fist and Tambourine dies just like that. King Piccolo looks very disappointed at the effort of Tambourine. Since he hasn't returned, he assumes that he's been killed. He creates his next child, Symbol, to take his place in the mission, and his task is to try and search for the Dragon Balls. Goku recalls him meeting Yajirobe at this time, and so he heads over to the forest where he found him. He acts in almost the exact same way that he remembers, and they have a quick fight. Goku holds back a lot to make sure that the fight ends in a stalemate, like it did in his first life. However, Symbol arrives shortly after, and Goku sees no need to hold back now. His base form will be more than enough to take down this beast, and this is what he does. He dashes towards Symbol and crushes his ribcage with his initial kick. Symbol falls back using his wings so that he can stay on his feet. However, the pain he feels is too great. His mind is shrouded by agony and as a result he can't properly retaliate. Seeing him not move, Goku takes this chance himself to kill him right there and then. Again, he feels this sense of guilt upon doing this, but he knows that it's for the best. King Piccolo, angered greatly by the death of his two children, heads right over to face him directly. This is going to prove to be quite bad for him since Goku is way stronger than him. However, Goku realizes that Piccolo may never get to live life if he kills him now. Yajirobe hides away as King Piccolo arrives at the scene and Goku is forced to let him defeat him. He takes punches and kicks while acting as if he's been injured greatly. Once this happens, he allows King Piccolo to escape as he does in canon, but secretly follows after him. He knows that he is heading for the Dragon Balls and sees King Piccolo and Master Roshi fighting. Upon seeing them both fight, Master Roshi reveals the electric rice cooker, and this is where the Saiyan has to step in. He knows that if his master was to use the Mafuba technique, he would die in the process. He appears in front of them both using instant transmission and stops Master Roshi from using the technique. "Get out of here, Goku, it's too dangerous," Master Roshi claims. "So, you came to receive another beating?" King Piccolo asks, cracking his bloody knuckles. Goku erupts with new power in Super Saiyan and places his hand back. "Please move back, Master, I have enough power, I'm sure of it," Goku says back, with a certain tone that exudes boldness and confidence. Master Roshi hears this, and to him this hasn't been said by the voice of a child. His golden appearance and straight face make him look far more mature. Then Goku turns back to King Piccolo. The old man rushes right at him and Goku catches his fist before throwing him away. Just this shove launches him tens of meters away and Goku teleports to arrive right in front of him. He then points to the Dragon Balls. "Get your wish, Piccolo, wish for your youth," Goku states. Tien, who has been paralysed by Master Roshi, can't believe what he's hearing, and Chaozu is too weak to step in as well. King Piccolo gets his wish and becomes youthful, turning to Goku. "You are very, very stupid for letting me get this wish," he says, lifting his arms regally. Goku rushes forward and punches him once, making him cripple to his knees and cough blood in pain. He strugglingly raises to his feet again, then uses his demon wave. Goku jumps into flight right over it and lets it race over the ground. A large trail of scorched earth is left in the trail of the energy wave and Goku lands back on the ground. Goku's had enough of this scuffle and punches him again, making him cough even more blood. He is weakened even more and looks up to the terrifying golden boy walking toward him. After receiving this punch and seeing how easy it was for him to throw such a punch, he knows that there is nothing left that he can do. He starts shouting and punching the ground in rage. He wished for his youth but is still unable to try and hurt this child. He shoots himself toward Goku and throws numerous punches that he can evade with ease. His body flows around each incoming attack and all that he can hit is his raging flowing aura. Goku shuts him down right away with a punch to his face, making blood drip out his nose and mouth. This Namekian is now seconds from death. Seeing that this is the last thing he may possibly do, he shoots his son into the skies above him. Seeing that the job is finally done, Goku lands a full power punch to his face that crushes his skull, while also destroying him. This brings an end to the Demon King. I don't care what power you have, Goku. It's weird, and I didn't teach you any of those things, but will you use your power to protect, not destroy? Master Roshi asks. Goku turns and nods with a smile as he returns to his base form. Of course, Goku says back. Before the beginning of the next 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku wants to try his best to befriend Piccolo. Before he goes off to train with Kami himself, he wants to see what's happened. He ends up finding a child Piccolo off-sensing his key signature. As he finds him, he is immediately hostile, and even more so because he knows who he is. Goku manages to knock him out before he causes damage and decides to teleport right to Kami's lookout with him. After this, the training period begins. Goku's been training underwater a significant amount, and the reason that he's been doing this is to increase his air capacity. He knows how thin the air is in the hyperbolic time chamber and he wants to utilize it during this training period. Piccolo Jr. is hostile to those on the lookout also and doesn't train with Goku for almost 2 years. However, he ends up entering the hyperbolic time chamber with Goku for a whole year to train with him. They train together and Piccolo is still annoyed by this Saiyan that slaughtered his father. He feels exhilarated fighting the Saiyan in the hopes of taking him down. In the back of his mind though, he can't not say that he enjoys it. Goku and Piccolo emerge with newfound strength. Piccolo is already the size of an adult human, well much larger than even that, and has a power level of 520. Goku's is 600, and with his Super Saiyan he can actually achieve a power level of 30,000, above even Zarbon and Dodoria. Well, Zarbon when he's not transformed, that is. Doing this, he decides to try and check if he's strong enough to use Kaioken. He was around this strong at some point in his training with King Kai, so it seems that he might just have enough durability to utilize the basic form. Kaioken, he roars, doubling his power right away. His power level becomes 1200 and Goku's muscles buff up wildly. His red aura rages around him and the strain he feels is non-existent. He is surprised and realizes that he has mastered the form. He ups the power to Kaioken times 20 to feel no strain whatsoever as well. It's surprising and it's a good asset to have, but Super Saiyan is just way more useful. The 3 years of training are over and the World Tournament is about to begin. At first, Goku doesn't want to reveal his association with Piccolo Jr. and he enters the tournament independently. For the tournament, Tien is up against Mercenary Tao and he takes him out with ease. Then Goku is up against Chi-Chi and recognizes her immediately. He is quick to agree to marry her and Piccolo Jr. takes down Krillin with a single attack. Since Kami has calmed Piccolo slightly, he sees no need to enter this tournament as a human in the form of Hero. Therefore, Yamcha is up against some random fighter and defeats him with ease. With Goku vs Tien, Goku doesn't want to just defeat him right away and instead tries to have a nice battle with him. Tien assaults him with his 4-clone technique and all the fighters rush in his direction. They surround him but he remains calm. All the warriors try to attack him from 4 different directions but he manages to knock them all away with swift attacks. Only the actual Tien remains and wipes the blood that has come out his mouth. He steps back then uses his tri-beam right on him. Seeing it come toward him, Goku wants to utilize some of his Kaioken flair. He enters Kaioken and rushes right at the blast. He uses his power up to swipe it away at full force, rushing forward to Tien once again. Tien blocks his first punch just about but then receives a punch to his stomach, then a kick to his body that forces him to the edge of the ring. He struggles to keep himself from stumbling and a light strike from Goku forces him right off onto the grass below. For the final, Goku and Piccolo face each other. Piccolo looks more than willing to face Goku and he looks more than ready to fight as he steps on the battlefield. The two fighters shoot at each other and Piccolo begins with intense vicious attacks. Goku can block each one of them with ease and this angers the Namekian. Even after all that training on his own and under Kami, his older other half, he hasn't grown much stronger. Beating Goku is like a wall that grows the more he climbs to him. It doesn't make any sense to him really. Goku possesses a certain level of technicality that is just puzzling to him. Seeing that there is little that he can do, he begins to use his giant form and tries to use his greater size to his advantage. However, Goku decides to end the fight right here and right now. He enters Kaioken times 20, which increases his power level up to 12,000. One punch is all it takes to eliminate the Namekian, and the tournament is all over. He wins for the third time in a row, becoming a true hero and celebrity for this tournament. What comes now are a few years of peace. Piccolo is deep in his own training and he wishes to defeat Goku for the first time ever. He returns to Kami and is just about humble enough to receive training from him. He's been trained in the ways of nobility, humility, and peace from Kami from a young age. So he's almost like the Piccolo we know and love, but just younger and more naive. Goku enters the hyperbolic time chamber with Piccolo for a year. The two warriors grow quite a bit, then he trains outside and learns to utilize his Uzaru form. He goes out into random places on Earth that are empty and barely inhabited to try and control it. It takes a full 2 years, so 24 full moons to do so, and in the meantime he has been with his son. What he needs to do though is prepare his friends for what is coming, the Saiyans. Raditz will be a much easier threat, but Nappa and Vegeta are much stronger. Goku isn't even at Vegeta's level in his base form at this point. His power level is still at 6,000. The problem is he doesn't really know how to break the news to his friends. He's not sure if they'll believe him, but he formulates a lie. He gathers the Sea Fighters and says he has a loose memory from his childhood of the Saiyans planning an assault once he reached adulthood. They will take him back in and then lay waste to the planet and everyone on it. This is just what the humans need to ignite their passions to train, and they begin 2 years before the Saiyans even arrive. Once Raditz is on his way after this 2-year training period, he'll be in for a lot. Tien has a power level of 2,500, Krillin has a power level of 2,400, and Yamcha has a 2,000 power level. Goku's is all the way up at 15,000 and Piccolo's is at 10,000. He can't grow as fast as Goku but still makes astounding progress. He gets to train with Goku, who makes him much stronger since he can push him to the very edge. A strong sparring partner is always a good asset when it comes to training in Dragon Ball. During this time too, Goku has been training Gohan. Gohan is a prodigy, and with an actual trainer to hone his skills, he grows much stronger much faster. His power level reaches 4,000 after his training, and this is very surprising to the other humans. They can certainly tell that he is his son. With Goku's body and strongest form, he can achieve a power level of 750,000. This is massive, and he fearlessly waits the arrival of the Saiyans. Goku and his family are at Kame House and are having a great time. Piccolo is out training solitarily. He is currently meditating, trying to imitate the training from his other half Kami. While he's doing that, he then feels the presence of someone headed his way. He raises to his feet and watches Raditz approach. The Saiyan stops dead in his place and is not looking to start a fight at all. "I'm sorry to bother you, Namekian. I am Raditz and I am a Saiyan looking for my brother Kakarot," he explains, placing his hand on his chest. "I don't know who you are or who Kakarot is. Stop bothering me before I kill you," Piccolo replies, before sitting back down to meditate. Did this man kill Kakarot? Raditz wonders, watching him meditating. He decides to fly off without causing any other problems and arrives at Kame House. Once he arrives, Goku is already outside the Kame House and ready. The humans look ready to fight this time as they were warned of his arrival from Goku. "So, you're the Saiyan that was sent to take Goku away," Krillin says, making his fighting stance. Who is Goku? Raditz wonders, while looking at the bold warrior. However, once he turns to his side, he sees Goku facing him directly. "Hello, brother," Goku says, making Raditz sigh with relief. "Kakarot, it's you. Why do these people keep calling you Goku? Your name is Kakarot," he blurts out. Goku then rushes forward and lifts his suppressions, reaching his true power level of 15,000. Raditz remains stunned, standing right in place. Before he can even react, Goku grabs his scouter and crushes it. "Now, you don't have to listen to those other Saiyans," Goku says, making Raditz confused. "How do you know about Vegeta and Nappa?" he asks. "From distant memories, father will talk about them," he fibs, and Raditz buys it right away. "You don't have to continue working under them anymore. You can stay here and live in peace. If you try and attack any of us though, you will be gravely injured. All of my friends here surpass you in strength." Raditz saw their power levels with his scouter and can verify that Goku's claim is true. If he does try to act out, he would be slaughtered. If he had a full moon on his side, that would be a different story, but he would still only be a match for Goku, not totally superior to him. With the 8 times reduction in speed from being much larger, he's not even sure if he could properly take him down. "Fine, I never even liked working under those Saiyans anyway. Let me battle you. I am a Saiyan just like you and I'll learn to adapt. I want to defeat Vegeta," Raditz states. "Of course, that's fine by me," Goku says, and the next period in their training begins. The other humans continue their training and Vegeta and Nappa will soon head to Earth to check up on Raditz to see what happened. Raditz trains with Goku and Gohan. Their powers simultaneously climb and Piccolo chips into their training quite a lot too. After this training of nearly a full year, their power levels are as follows. The weakest of the bunch is Raditz. He has a power level of about 12,000. He's grown quite a lot but just started from a much lower level of power. Piccolo's is 14,000 and Raditz is already starting to catch up on him. Gohan's power level is at 16,000 and Goku's is at a whopping 20,000. Goku's power level at its maximum has now breached the 1 million mark. He is too scared to use Super Saiyan 2 or 3 because of the strain he felt with that power even when he was much stronger in his previous life. It wouldn't be smart to use those forms when his body is still as weak as it is. Raditz is weaker than Vegeta, but Goku has spent the time to give him a certain trump card. He has been trying to give him a technique that no other Saiyan has, and this is the power of Kaioken. With months of training and a strong body to act as foundation, Raditz is very close to attaining the power of Kaioken. If he manages to use that form, he will be strong enough to take on Vegeta when he is still in his human form. On the day that Goku remembers, Vegeta and Nappa have arrived on Earth. Nappa destroys the city that they land in, and then they meet the Sea Fighters in a gizzard wasteland. At the forefront of this group is none other than Raditz, who is clad in his ordinary Saiyan gi. "What are you doing, Raditz? Your mission was to bring Kakarot here, not defect to this weak planet," Vegeta exclaims. "You were wrong to continuously look down on me, Vegeta. This planet possesses power unlike anything you've ever seen," Raditz replies. Vegeta just laughs upon seeing the power level of 1,800 coming from him. "Okay, Raditz, just because you got a tiny bit stronger doesn't mean you could even take down Nappa. You know what, Nappa, straighten up this lower classman for me," Vegeta orders. Nappa cracks his knuckles as he walks forward. "Of course, sir," Nappa says before powering up and shooting himself at Raditz. The other three fighters, Piccolo, Goku and Gohan, retreat to let him fight. The two fighters clash and Raditz just smiles at Nappa upon feeling how weak he is. The two struggle as they push at each other, but the only person actually struggling is Nappa. He feels like an immovable wall, while Raditz then begins to make steps forward. He releases his suppression in his advance, making Vegeta startled by the readings he takes. He then punches Nappa in his stomach, dropping him to his knees. He kicks the large Saiyan into the sky, then shoots up to chase right after him. His face remains expressionless in his ascent, and he kicks Nappa further up into the sky. As he flies up again, Nappa tries to stop him in his tracks with his signature mouth energy wave. It comes flying down extremely fast right at the group and Raditz flies right over it. He continues in his flight, then throws a full power punch to Nappa's face to knock him out. He comes tumbling down from the sky and lands beside Vegeta, then Raditz descends to land too. "Now, it's time that we finally have our fight, right Vegeta?" he asks. Vegeta is surprised and perplexed with how strong Raditz seems to be right now. Being a lower classman, it should be impossible that his power level is as high as it is. 12,000 he thinks, looking at Raditz's power level. Raditz powers up, engulfing in his signature silver aura. The ground rumbles under his exertion of ki and the battle commences. The battle between former allies and former teammates, Vegeta and Raditz. They both clash, but just as expected, Raditz is no match for the Saiyan Prince. He toys around with him and just can't seem to land any substantial attacks. Raditz flies forward and pushes himself ahead in flight as much as he can. He thrusts his fist forward only to hit a gizzard rock that was situated behind Vegeta. It crumbles to the ground from the impact of his strike and Vegeta descends to fall back in level with him, now standing behind him. "As I told you, you will forever be under me. Nappa was never even a high class warrior like me. You might be able to surpass someone like him, but you can never reach my level," Vegeta claims as he turns. Raditz has bruises and bloody cuts across his body. He is also panting, but he smiles upon seeing Vegeta's blind confidence. Vegeta's eye twitches upon seeing Raditz so nonchalant and calm. He should be annoyed and scared right now, just as every opponent under him was after he defeated them. His clear resistance puts him off, but Raditz begins shouting. "Behold, a power you've never seen before. This fight is about to end, Vegeta," Raditz declares as the air around him vibrates. He grows stronger and stronger, eventually enveloping in the red aura of Kaioken. "Here we are. Now perish," Raditz roars, flying ahead. The first punch from him shoots Vegeta through an entire gizzard rock, then Raditz shoots after him to land even more punches and kicks. Vegeta can barely track the Saiyan, who now outclasses him in terms of strength and speed. Vegeta flies right up to him in rage, trying to attack him. He is furious at the fact that he's been hit so many times, but he just receives a kick that launches him down to the ground. "This is where it ends, Vegeta. Let's see if you can hold back this attack of mine," Raditz shouts. Goku can sense the intent in Raditz and hopes that he isn't going to go totally overboard. "Just wait, Raditz, don't kill him," Goku pleads from the sidelines. "Don't worry, Kakarot, I won't kill him. I want him to live with his defeat," Raditz shouts, growing 2 ki blasts in his palms. He launches the energy wave right at Vegeta, who launches his very own Gallic gun. The 2 horizontal beams collide and Raditz struggles to take him down right away. He only has seconds left with his Kaioken and doesn't want to lose here. However, Vegeta's attack is very powerful. The only thing is that the Saiyan Prince has been injured and weakened. His blast can't match Raditz's, and his is pushed back so that it's only inches in length. Seconds after this, he is hit by Raditz's double Sunday and sent back hundreds of meters into the distance. The smoke left in the trail of this blast soon dies down, and Vegeta is left gravely injured. He coughs blood upon receiving this attack, and Raditz flies forward to arrive in front of him. Vegeta cowers away upon seeing his advance. His fear of death has gotten the best of him and he tries to crawl away upon seeing him. However, he hears Raditz not move at all. Turning back around, he sees Raditz standing with his hand reached out. "I've already said I'm not here to kill you, Vegeta. I just wanted to finally beat you for once." "How could I kill another Saiyan when there are just a handful of us left?" Raditz says. Vegeta feels taken aback by the kindness that Raditz is showing him. Vegeta felt the need to just kill Nappa when he was defeated by Raditz. However, now he thinks twice about it. Vegeta feels humiliated by his defeat, and so does Nappa, to be honest. The two Saiyans decide to leave and Nappa goes off to get healed. Vegeta wants to go off and train so that he can get strong enough to beat Raditz in the future. Seeing his red aura, he thought about the power of the Super Saiyan, but he then recalled Raditz's claim of the power being one that the Saiyans weren't aware of. During this time, Nappa and Vegeta aren't aware of what's going on with Namek. They aren't aware of the Dragon Balls because Goku destroyed Raditz's scouter before that information could have been relayed to them. This timeline has already taken quite a change, since Vegeta, Nappa and Frieza are all unaware of the Dragon Balls. Goku never told Raditz about their existence, and the Namekians aren't immediately in any form of danger. However, with the Dragon Balls on Earth, Goku wants a few powers. He summons Shenron and asks for his potential to be unlocked, gaining an immediate boost in power. He can tell that Dr. Gero is out there somewhere conducting his research, but he just doesn't know where exactly to go to find him. Therefore, he just must make himself strong enough to take out the androids and then Imperfect Cell when they show up. He has about 4.5 years before Android 19 and 20 appear and has a power level of just 20,000 by this point. Raditz, Goku and Piccolo all train together with Gohan. Chi-Chi is insistent with his studies, but since he is a child, his education just isn't really that intensive. Their power levels all climb quite significantly and Gohan's also skyrockets. He remains stronger than Piccolo, but Raditz soon overtakes him in strength. What starts to bother Goku is also the heart virus that he will inevitably contract. He's not even sure if future Trunks will appear and doesn't know how to go forward as a result. Being the benevolent warrior that he is, him dying isn't the biggest worry for him. The issue is, if he dies of the heart virus, he will be dying of natural causes, so Shenron will be unable to revive him. Getting Bulma's father to create a gravity chamber for them all to utilise, this makes their training accelerate quite a lot. Their power levels reach the millions after a year of this training and Goku is happy with the progress so far. Across the galaxy, Nappa and Vegeta are training on an unknown planet. They have gone rogue after Frieza has been searching for them. They need to answer to him for not listening to his orders and know that only severe punishment awaits them both. As a result, they are still on a rocky planet just fighting and surviving on their own. Vegeta's power level is at 1 million while Nappa's lags behind with one of 800,000. "What are we going to do now, Vegeta?" Nappa asks. "We are now Super Saiyans, Nappa. I believe that we should head to Earth to get revenge on Raditz for defeating both of us. He'll be aghast when he sees how strong we are now." During some training, Goku and Raditz are training over the waters of Earth. They are in their base forms and Goku is trying to teach Raditz better fighting technique. Goku's impenetrable defense annoys Raditz, but also makes him want to learn to fight that way so that he can be as skilled as him. He is his younger brother and hasn't been in anywhere near as many battles as him, but he still fights with insane technique. "Since when did you learn to fight like this, Kakarot?" Raditz asks, slightly annoyed. "It's just come from a lot of training under many masters. To learn you have to be humble and be aware that others can know more than you do," Goku explains. Raditz applauds his brother's skill and humility, but he has noted one thing: he doesn't fight like a Saiyan would. He fights with utter calmness, no rage, no pride, no bloodthirst. As they fight, they sense two massive key signatures heading straight for the planet and they stop right away. In seconds, Piccolo and Gohan are by their side after flying right to them. They all lock into the sky, then fly in the direction of these signatures. "It's Vegeta and that other guy," Goku says, watching them emerge. "Vegeta and Nappa have returned," Raditz says with a smile. He leaps off the gizzard rock that he stood on to stand right ahead of the two Saiyans. The other three warriors also descend to stand behind him. "What do you two Saiyans need here?" Raditz asks, extending his hand. He wants to shake Vegeta's hand, but all he receives is a kick to his chest. "You humiliate me and you think that I'm here to make peace. I'm here to defeat you. I'm here to reclaim my rightful title as the strongest Saiyan in this entire universe." The long-haired Saiyan just smiles upon seeing him fly in his direction. Raditz evades his first attack, then does the same to the next one that comes his way. Vegeta fights with fury and looks angry that his attacks are getting shut down. Raditz continuously fights on the back end with a smile gleaming on his face. face. Vegeta soon stands ahead of the Saiyan, tired and panting. Raditz is not doing the same and instead looks quite calm with his arms crossed. I told you that you cannot stop me. This planet has power that you cannot just attain through hard training, Raditz claims. To this, Vegeta chuckles. Tell me, Raditz, do you believe in the legend of the Super Saiyan? Vegeta asks. Yes, of course, my brother is the legendary Super Saiyan. I have seen the form with my own eyes, he claims. Ah, is that so? What if there were more than one? Another Super Saiyan, Vegeta shouts, entering his battle stance. Raditz looks a little confused, but then clicks onto what Vegeta is trying to say. Just as he processes his question, he begins his transformation and begins ascending. His hair flashes golden and his eyes begin to glow blue. He fully transforms and gives off a blinding light, entering his Super Saiyan form. Here we are, Raditz, let's see if you can still challenge me, he shouts, shooting toward the long-haired Saiyan. Raditz receives an impactful punch to his stomach before being kicked back more than 100 meters away. Vegeta pounces and continues to fight him intensely and relentlessly, letting out his pent-up anger. He has been training with the thought in his mind of being inferior to the Saiyan. Now that he has this form, he feels elated to see that that is seemingly no longer the case. Raditz, now bleeding and battered, stands against Vegeta with his arms up and ready. Vegeta just walks forward with a smile, elegantly and arrogantly. What is that weak stance going to do to protect yourself? I'll just punch your arm and break your bones, Vegeta declares, advancing. However, Raditz begins powering up. He uses Kaioken but doesn't stop there. He knows that he can't. He begins reaching much further and utilizes the true power of Kaioken times 20. His power skyrockets and he punches Vegeta right in his face. His much stronger strike takes him off guard, but he still takes a punch to his face from the Saiyan Prince. Vegeta does so with a smile on his face, only to see Raditz resisting his own punch. Nappa from the sidelines almost can't believe it, then Raditz throws a wave of impactful punches to his body to try and subdue him. His assault is relentless and intense, since he knows he won't have enough stamina after this is over. Vegeta soon tries to block these attacks and does a decent job at that, but when his punches break through his guard, they hurt and damage a lot. They then clasp their hands together and push at each other as hard as they can, almost entering a stalemate. Their power seems equal, but Raditz soon starts overpowering Vegeta. The Saiyan Prince wildly swings at his head to try and land a punch, but he dips under it. Now crouched down, he springs right up and punches him in the face to drop him. Raditz's Kaioken fades and he falls seconds later. Both fighters are panting and weak while Vegeta is in shock. After becoming a Super Saiyan, he thought that it would just be over for him. However, Raditz still managed to persevere and defeat him somehow. In rage, he flies away from the scene, but this time doesn't immediately leave the planet. Nappa sees no need to stay there with people he doesn't even know and takes his leave to follow Vegeta. Goku goes over to help Raditz, giving him a senzu bean so that he can be healed. Raditz receives a decently large Zenkai boost off rip and can feel his body being invigorated with new power. Following this, Goku teleports right to Vegeta and Nappa. They seem very hostile, but he tells them about the strong warriors about to come to the planet. He asks for their help against the upcoming androids, but of course it is to no avail. Vegeta just assails him with a punch out of pure fury. He has been defeated twice already and doesn't want to associate with these beings in any way. Goku is aware that his message has been heard and doesn't lose hope right away. Vegeta and Nappa are Saiyans and want to face strong foes. He believes that in 3 years, if they have nothing else to do, they will come and help. He isn't asking them for help because he knows he is strong enough now. However, he wants Vegeta and Nappa to become friends with him and his friends so that they can help him in the future fight against Moro. Also, if the heart virus incapacitates him, he wants people to fight in his stead. So their 3 years of strenuous training ends and they have now reached their true potential. Goku, Gohan and Raditz are now Super Saiyans, and Goku has gained access to Super Saiyan 2 and 3. Of course, he had that ability ever since he was reborn, but now we can confidently say that his body is strong enough to use such forms. Just as they expected, the time has come. They feel people's ki signatures being depleted in the city of Sasebo, and they head over to the area to engage in battle. The 3 Saiyans stand at the front of these fighters, and Raditz flies right into the city. He enters the city and looks ready to face the 2 androids that he sees first. These 2 androids are Dr. Gero and Android 19. Raditz stands there and exudes confidence as he stares these beings down. So you're the androids that Goku has been talking about all this time. Let's see how strong you are then, Raditz shouts, powering up. From what Goku has said about these androids, he knows that they won't be weak at all. His aura switches from silver to gold and lights up with new colour and power. He enters his Super Saiyan form and flies right at the 2 warriors. He takes Android 19 off guard with his first punch that launches him across the street that they're in. Raditz swipes at Dr. Gero and clips him on his jaw before 19 comes flying right back to attack them. The android slams into Raditz, but they both stand firm. Raditz soon starts pushing 19 back, then takes the chance to finish it off. 19 begins to try and use its laser eyes, but Raditz swiftly sidesteps to evade the hot red beams of energy. He then punches the android right through its chest, crushing some of its vital components. Its body twitches and starts to malfunction, and once he rips his arm back out, the android has been defeated. Dr. Gero watches on in horror as one of his most splendid creations has been defeated just like that. He struggles to think of what to do now, since it seems like Raditz won't let him go very easily. "Now for you," Raditz shouts, flying right at the terrified man. However, using his photon wave, Dr. Gero grants himself just enough time to escape. He arrives at his lab and swiftly activates the two androids 17 and 18. They rise and immediately seem unwilling to listen to his commands. This annoys Gero and he is eventually slaughtered by his own creations. Just as Raditz locates this weird base, Goku starts to look weak. "Kakarot, what is it?" Raditz asks, looking back to him. He has fallen to a knee and is grabbing his chest. "It's happening already," Goku whispers to himself quietly, which confuses the surrounding warriors. "Continue fighting, I need to head to the Capsule Corporation," Goku says, standing up. He collapses again, but Krillin is there to help him up. "Don't worry, I'll get you there. Good luck everyone," Krillin says before flying off. Raditz looks back to the base and the door soon opens. Once it does, 17 and 18 are revealed. "Ah, some more androids to destroy. Thank you for revealing yourselves," Raditz says, entering his Super Saiyan form once again. "Where is Goku? We have no interest in fighting you, Raditz," 17 replies. "My name? How do you know my name?" Raditz asks, with caution. Before he receives a valid reply, he is hit with a punch from 18 and the fighters enter flight, scattering apart. The androids race to meet their level and all of these warriors look ready to fight. Piccolo, who is now significantly stronger than he was in the canon timeline, stands overhead and charges forward. He throws 2 haymakers, but 17 handles each one. He retaliates with his very own strike, driving his fist into his stomach. Piccolo is left wheezing and lightheaded from such an impact and is left to descend back to the ground. Gohan promptly catches him, then Raditz zooms ahead in flight to try and take down this warrior. 17 dodges his first punch and 18 comes flying in to try and attack him from the side. Raditz blocks her first punch, then kicks 17 away before slamming a ki blast into the other android's face. Just as he has done this, 17 drives forward his body right into his stomach to send him flying tens of meters back. Raditz feels slightly nauseous from the sudden force, but his adrenaline masks this feeling relatively well. He continues fighting with vigor and resolution. The other fighters are stunned at his ability to fight like a warrior. No matter what attacks he takes, he fights through the pain and continues on. This even makes the androids slightly perplexed, since they have infinite stamina and continuously beat him down. "You must be wondering how I'm still going. A Saiyan never loses his will so easily," Raditz roars, beginning to power up even more. His shout is vehement and powerful and he makes the air around him shake violently. His muscles become larger and the veins across his body become significantly more visible. With a final scream, he enters the next stage of his transformation, Super Saiyan Grade 2. He flies right back towards 17 and takes him off guard with a newly amplified strike to his face. He pounces on him and the two continue their battle, but it looks like 17 is instead now fighting on the back end. 18 looks worried and flies in to try and fight, but she is stopped by Piccolo and Gohan. "You're going nowhere," Gohan shouts, entering his own Super Saiyan form. Piccolo just powers up as much as he can and isn't going to be useless in this battle, but he definitely isn't playing a major role. 18 chuckles before flying straight toward Piccolo. In her eyes, he is the weak link in the chain and can't match up to any of the other Saiyans that she knows. However, Gohan punches her before she can reach him, then relentlessly attacks her with a sense of fury similar to Raditz's. As his anger grows, it's like he's growing stronger too. Now Raditz and 17 have ended up in a stalemate. 17 is faster than his opponent while Raditz is stronger. Raditz lands less attacks that deal more damage, while 17 deals more attacks that each lack the same force behind them. Raditz is panting while bruised and wounded, while 17 looks injured somewhat but isn't at all breathing heavily. It seems like he's just been on a walk. "These warriors are stronger than I anticipated," Raditz realizes, drained and fatigued. 17 takes advantage of his greater stamina and takes him off guard with a sudden assault. He lands a sequence of punches and Raditz tries to swing back in response, but his muscles look slower and weaker. 17 slips past his swing and lands another punch, this time to his chest, before swat kicking him downward. Raditz wipes the blood now dripping down his face and looks even weaker than before. Even after all that training, I shouldn't still be inferior to this fighter, Raditz thinks, wiping the blood away. "Hello Raditz," he hears from behind him. To his surprise, 2 warriors have arrived out of nowhere to get in on some of the fun. These two fighters are none other than Nappa and Vegeta. Back down, Raditz, we'll take it from here, Vegeta says, entering his Super Saiyan form easily. Nappa does the same now with a golden aura and beard. The two fighters then shoot off toward their new target with immense speed and excitement to face such a strong foe. Vegeta attacks 17 and Nappa goes off to help Gohan in the fight against 18. Just as Vegeta lands his first punch, 17 tries to fly right back to him and take him out. Just before he can do so though, Vegeta swerves around him to punch him in his back. As he is being launched forward, Raditz launches a full power double Sunday that hits 17 right on. He is launched downward and a large explosion is given off, then Vegeta adds to the damage by hurling in a big bang attack. His attack looks like a nuclear bomb and even catches the surprise of the other fighters around them. The smoke soon thins and 17 is revealed with quite severe injury. He stumbles onto a rock before tumbling down to his hands and knees. There we go, looks like these fighters weren't even that strong after all, Vegeta says with arrogance. Thanks Vegeta, thank you so much for helping us, Raditz says, panting. Save your breath, you look exhausted, Vegeta replies. 18 is grabbed by Nappa, who then receives numerous punches from Gohan. She can't do anything to evade the attacks, then Piccolo launches his special beam cannon. He has learned to charge it much more quickly, and with more training his attack is even more powerful. The attack pierces through her torso and blood spews out from the wound. Blood then comes out her mouth as she coughs, but 17 is there to save her. The two androids fly off into the distance and 16 follows them. His mission is to destroy Goku, not to fight these warriors. Therefore he doesn't engage in battle and then retreats when he sees 17 and 18 doing so. Across the planet in the Capsule Corp, Goku is strung up to several databases and systems through wiring. Bulma is using her technology to analyze the defects that he now has and is struggling to find out what the problem is. This virus that he has attained is very complex and creating the cure for this virus will certainly be a task. She also has her father working non-stop alongside her to try and find this cure. The androids cower away and Piccolo flies off to fuse with a certain someone. This person is Kami. He performs the fusion and can feel himself being invigorated with new power entirely. It's exhilarating to feel, but he is then met with a new sense of calmness and tranquility. He can then see down on the earth that Imperfect Cell has been activated. Goku spoke of another one of Dr. Gero's creations taking form shortly after the androids and flies right down there to see what's going on. He arrives ahead of Imperfect Cell and looks at the beast with confusion. Just what are you supposed to be, he asks, looking at its grotesque frame. I am part you Piccolo, part Goku, part Gohan, part Krillin. I am an amalgamation of the different fighters of this planet into one super being, he calls out proudly, standing regally. So you're a super being, are you? Let's see how you fare against me then, Piccolo shouts back, powering up. After facing numerous Saiyans for years and years on end, Piccolo is not someone to joke around with. Even without Nail, he has surpassed that power that he had upon fusing with Nail and Cannon a long time ago. He has made up for that lost individual in years and years of sparring and training. He zooms ahead and lands a single punch onto Cell that launches him back. Cell looks furious and tries to land an attack of his own, only to receive a special beam cannon to his shoulder. Blood spurts out from the wound, then Piccolo speed blitzes him with his advance. Grabbing onto his extended arm, Piccolo viciously pulls it and manages to rip it off completely before chucking it to the side. Not so much of a super being now, are you, he says, towering over the fallen warrior. Cell holds the opening from his lost arm in pain and volumes of blood's released, but he doesn't look as concerned as he should be. Forcefully returning back to his feet, he turns around to stare down the Namekian as a totally new limb is grown out from the wound. Did you forget that I have your healing too, Namekian? Cell asks, before punching Piccolo in his face. He lands a few more attacks, but Piccolo takes them all without ending up injured at all. With the final punch it lands on his cheek, but his head isn't knocked away completely. He pushes at his knuckles and Cell looks aghast at his power. His fist is slowly forced back and Cell then cowers away. He sees that he won't be doing much here and decides to use his solar flare to try and escape. It works and Piccolo grabs his eyes in pain upon seeing the blinding light, and he then sees that his opponent is now nowhere to be found. From his sickbed in Bulma's Capsule Corp, Goku is practicing some of the abilities that he didn't give enough love as he grew older. Things like telepathy, telekinesis and mind reading that he didn't think about much once he started facing stronger foes with enough power to destroy stars and even galaxies. He lets a cup of water levitate up from the ground and he tries to communicate with his friends. At the Kame house, Gohan, Raditz, Piccolo and the humans are discussing their next course of action. They don't really know what's happening and feel quite uncertain about things after knowing that Goku has contracted a deadly virus. Hello everyone, it's Goku. The fighters all stand simultaneously, expecting to see Goku come out from somewhere. His voice sounded like it came from all directions, not a single point, then they realise what is happening. Don't worry, I'm talking to you all telepathically. I would like to give you all some information on what to do next. The weird being that Piccolo fought is called Cell, and his goal is to absorb the other androids to achieve his perfect form. At all costs, you must try to prevent him from getting what he wants, and as I am talking, he will be on the loose looking for them. I recommend that Raditz and Gohan enter the hyperbolic time chamber, enter for a year, and for the rest of you, try to find the androids before Cell does. That is all I can help with for now. I wish you all the best of luck, Goku says, before his voice disappears. The Sea Fighters follow his command and so begin filling their roles. Raditz and Gohan fly to Kami's lookout while the other Sea Fighters soar across the earth in search of Cell and the androids. Raditz and Gohan begin their tough training and start growing stronger quite quickly. Their Saiyan genetics feed off one another as they get Zenkai after Zenkai. After a long period of searching, Piccolo and Tien find the androids. They land ahead of the trio that have decided to lay low on a distant island. They aren't aware of Cell and how he wants to absorb them, but Goku is not around. Their job is to kill him, and if he isn't showing himself, they win either. Goku said we have to stop Cell from absorbing these androids, but he never said that we couldn't just kill them ourselves, Piccolo declares, throwing off his weighted clothing. He reveals his burly physique and cracks his knuckles to prepare for this upcoming battle. 17, I challenge you to a rematch. You wouldn't take me down as easily as you did before, Piccolo declares, making his stance. Tien looks quite scared since he isn't as strong as the Namekian beside him, however his Neo Tri-Beam is his trump card that he can fall back on any time. Piccolo pounces on his android target and the two warriors enter a tough wrestling match. They push at each other with everything they have, each trying to overpower the other. Their power is insane and they cause cracks to appear in the floor. Even though 17 is strong in his own right, it looks like Piccolo is taking the upper hand. He starts stepping forwards, overpowering the smaller fighter. He then shoves 17 away and kicks the android in the side of his head. Before 17 can properly react to anything, Piccolo grabs him by his waist. He lifts him slightly and ferociously slams him into the ground below. 17 shouts in pain, then Piccolo throws down a punch to add insult to injury. Piccolo then backs away and lets the android raise back up to his feet. 18 tries to attack Tien and wins him with the first punch. He cowers away and holds his stomach in agony before lifting his hands. He sees the severity of the situation and the strength of the person before him. If he doesn't act now, he'll be toast for sure. Tri-beam, he roars out, releasing an energy wave right toward Android 18. The bright blast hits her and somehow causes serious damage. She is hauled back and slams into 18, who is stood up watching this all play out. You can see burns and scorched blood on her body while Tien looks weak because of his attack. He aims up and threatens to use his attack again. Back down or I'll take you out too, Tien explains, while his hands are intensely trembling. 16 looks hesitant and continues to back away along with 18. Piccolo and 17's battle is intense and 17 is getting destroyed. It's complete domination on Piccolo's side and this is partly due to the intensive training that he went through in the past. 17 is covered in his own blood and Piccolo is currently holding him by the neck. Perish, android, he shouts, clenching his hand tightly. He starts applying alarming amounts of pressure onto the android's neck, but before he can fully destroy it, he receives a sudden attack from beside him. This is from Imperfect Cell. I won't let you destroy my precious androids, he calls out, which weirds out Piccolo a little. Piccolo is still holding 17 and he then flings him into the air before Cell can get to him. He leaps up to try and retrieve the android, then Piccolo fires off a ki blast at the android that is currently flying in the air. Cell launches his own ki blast that hits Piccolo's before it can reach the android. Following this, he grabs 17 as he descends. He reveals his tail and performs the absorption, but an energy wave comes flying in out of nowhere. This is Tien's Tri-beam. This hits Cell and makes him lose contact with Android 17, making him go flying away. Back away, you scoundrel, Tien shouts, with his arms extended. Thank you, Tien, Piccolo says with gratitude. No problem. However, Cell then teleports to 17 and begins his absorption. Goku has already showcased the instant transmission technique numerous times after even destroying the Red Ribbon Army. Therefore, Dr. Gero's little mechanical bee has seen Goku use this attack numerous times and has embedded this technique into Cell's very DNA. His transformation begins and there is nothing that they can do. Semi-Perfect Cell is born and the tides have turned greatly. Goku is now very sick with a weakening heartbeat and pale sweaty skin. He can sense this battle taking place and can tell that Cell has gotten much stronger. Bulma, I need someone to acquire the Dragon Balls for me, Goku weakly says, barely able to lift his arms. Of course, Bulma says, rushing away. At this point in time, Semi-Perfect Cell is born and the only people to act as resistance are Tien and Piccolo. Piccolo flies forward and punches this being. He might be stronger, but he isn't that much stronger. His first attack does practically nothing and he receives a hit from Cell's tail that nearly knocks him out. Cell pounces on him and punches him into the floor, which does take him out. Piccolo coughs blood before losing his consciousness and Tien looks on aghast at the scenes. Piccolo has been taken out just like that, and there's basically nothing that he thinks he can do except to use all that he can to power his Tri-Beam. He launches repeated Neo Tri-Beams using the last of his life force to do so. He manages to keep Cell down and urges 16 and 18 to leave before they are hurt. 16 takes away a crippled 18 and Tien continues shooting his blasts, roaring in the process. After a few shots, he has created a massive rectangular hole in the ground. Cell reveals himself with minor to moderate injuries and he is more than ready to continue on fighting. The attacks angered him a lot more than actually hurt him. How? Tien asks before falling and losing consciousness. Before he fully collapses though, Raditz stops him from doing so. Gohan arrives beside Raditz, staring down Cell. Gohan and Raditz, it's truly wonderful to see you two, Cell says mockingly. Raditz hands him a senzu bean that he acquired on the way to this place, and Gohan lands just ahead of the hole in the ground to face Cell. Raditz has really taken the time to hone Gohan's skills, handing him all the knowledge that he has gained for him to fight as a Saiyan warrior. Gohan's rage is one thing that makes him have such potential for fighting in that way. Gohan begins shouting and powering up, searching for that power and anger deep inside him. As he thinks of all of the horrible things that Cell and the androids have done, it only invigorates him further. His fury is his fuel and he enters his Super Saiyan Grade 2 form. In this bulky form of his, he charges right at Cell and lands a punch to his gut that wins him completely. He then whips in a kick to his abdomen that cracks a rib and makes him cough blood. Cell cowers away and receives a punch to the face to force him further back. Gohan looks extremely angry and isn't willing to hold back with any of his upcoming attacks. Just like Goku had done, Goku and Raditz realize that grade 3 isn't sufficient to fight someone. The increase in power it gives the user hinders their speed, so Gohan continues on in this state. Cell tries to fight this Saiyan, but he is fighting defensively. He can't even really land attacks and Gohan's rage is only making him stronger as this bout continues. In just a few minutes of battle, Cell is gravely wounded and injured, looking for a way out. He turns around and flies away as fast as he can, only to hit into Gohan's chest. "You're going nowhere," Gohan states, before landing a knee to his stomach that nearly makes him regurgitate out Android 17. He coughs out alarming amounts of blood and spit, holding onto his stomach in utter agony. Gohan then angrily thrusts his fist into his body, piercing through his torso entirely. Blood drips down his hand, then he viciously rips it back out to leave a devastating wound in his body. He knows that this being can heal from what Piccolo has said previously, and so he lifts his hands up to his head. "Super Masenko," he shouts, shooting out the new and improved attack. Cell is hit by it head on and his body is shredded apart in the blast. Even at the cellular level, he begins to get destroyed until there is nothing more of him left. Semi-perfect Cell is defeated and Gohan stands over the falling debris with an angry look. After seeing Piccolo in such a state, it made him furious, but he just can't shake the guilt that grows in his heart. In Cell was Android 17, an evil person but one that was manipulated by Dr. Gero. Who knows what he could have become if not for his unlucky experiences as a test subject of the mad scientist's work. This brings the Cell saga to an abrupt end. The Dragon Balls are gathered and Shenron allows a cure to be found for the heart virus for a wish. They administer it to Goku and he is healed almost instantly. His body still feels weak and tingly, but it's only going to get better for him from then on. 18 is also healed by Bulma and some of her vital components are rebuilt. Also, the self-destruction bomb is removed from both 16 and 18, while 16 remains as a security guard at Capsule Corp. Now what ensues are several years of peace. Gohan has taken a big step off training after killing 17. He feels like a monster for what he did and he also wants to put more time into his studies. Vegeta and Nappa start to get much closer to the crew and they start training with each other more frequently. They have no one else to answer to, but what remains is Frieza's empire. After searching, Frieza has located the wanted Saiyans Nappa and Vegeta. They come hurtling down to the planet in the masses, with Zarbon and Dodoria ready to fight if they are needed. The Saiyans are all chilling at the Kame house with the others for a barbecue. They have barbecues all over the place and are having a great time eating scrumptious meat along with other things. The Saiyans are devouring anything that they get and seem to have bottomless bellies. Vegeta digs into a massive piece of thigh from a cow before stopping. He raises and looks out of the Kame house to see several of Frieza's ships heading down to land. "Frieza's here," Vegeta says with a smile. Nappa and Raditz are the first to burst out of this room, then Goku and Piccolo follow suit shortly after. "Let's head over there then," Goku says, placing 2 fingers on his forehead. The other Saiyans touch him, then teleport over to meet the Emperor. Outside are several foot soldiers who make way for Frieza, who has Dodoria and Zarbon walking beside him. "Hello there, Saiyans. You must have felt at ease hiding away for so many years, but I didn't forget about you 3. Yes, the last Saiyan squadron. I think it's about time you answer for your crimes," Frieza says, advancing. We answer to no one. We are Saiyans and I'm the prince of them all. You should be bowing by my feet, Vegeta roars, making the foot soldiers shocked. Many of them lift up weapons and make fighting stances while Frieza just laughs. You are too arrogant, Vegeta. Dodoria, kill him, Frieza says. Dodoria slams a fist into his palm as he walks forward before flying ahead. He lands a punch to Vegeta's chest only to see his body not move. He continues with various more punches, but as he is landing these attacks, Vegeta is maintaining strong eye contact with Frieza. Stop toying around and kill him already, Frieza orders. Dodoria, now panting, nods. Yes, Lord, he says, flying forward again. Before he can attack him again, Vegeta steps forward and decapitates him with the side of his hand. His head goes rolling to the feet of Zarbon, who leaps over it and flies toward Vegeta in rage. He then shoots his hand forward and throws it through his entire torso. Blood now covers Vegeta's hand from his two fallen enemies and he lets the body simply tumble to the side. I said what I said because of the power difference between you and I, Frieza. Now I am way stronger than you and you must bow by my feet, Vegeta exclaims. Frieza, with a twitching eye, flies right over to him in his pod. I will allow you to take back what you said before you perish, he says, in a surprisingly polite tone. Vegeta chuckles before destroying his pod with a tap and punching Frieza through layers of his assembled army. He kills any soldier that he hits into, causing many of their bodies to collapse as he flies back. Vegeta then powers up into his Super Saiyan 2 form with an aura containing crackling lightning bolts. Frieza is furious and starts screaming. He lets out all his growing rage and enters his final form. He doesn't add any extra suppressions to his power and is already using 50% of it. The other soldiers around him watch in awe as they have never seen this version of Frieza before. They never even knew he had any special transformation. Vegeta just smirks upon seeing him, and this makes the Emperor even angrier. He begins with his death beams, but Vegeta swerves past every single one of them. Frieza is taking out many of his soldiers, but he doesn't care. All he wants to do is take out Vegeta at this point. He rushes in angrily and tries to attack Vegeta, who just punches him into the ground. He coughs blood and screams in pain before getting up and pleading for Vegeta to stop. Wait, I'm only using half my strength. Do you want to defeat me before I have shown my full strength? Where is your honor, Vegeta? Frieza asks. Goku is tired of Frieza's tricks as he's had enough of that in his past life. However, if Vegeta is stronger than even Cell by this point, he is confident that Frieza can do nothing to him. Frieza shouts and enters his buff final form, flying right back to attack Vegeta. The Saiyan evades each one of his incoming punches, knocking the wind right out of him with a 1-inch punch to his chest. Frieza grasps his chest in agony, then Vegeta shoots a Big Bang attack right at him and his army. A massive explosion is given off and nothing remains but a scorched, barren wasteland. Good riddance, Vegeta states. Now, a few good years pass and the Saiyans are still training their hardest. Goku, Vegeta, Raditz and Nappa can all utilize the power of Super Saiyan 3. Goku has near mastery over the form now, since he has also learned to use it in his past life. Goku has a lot of mastery over these techniques, but it's just his body that needs to catch up. So as soon as his body was strong enough to handle Super Saiyan 3, he had the same mastery over the form that he did in his past life. By this time now, Goku has something in mind. He wants to teach the Saiyans God Ki. He meditates over some water, trying to calm himself, letting the soothing noise of the flowing water relax his mind. He begins to feel it and he suddenly envelops in the power of God Ki. It takes him a little longer than expected since his body has had literally no exposure to the power. However, he has the technical ability to use it and he ends up using Super Saiyan God for the first time ever in this life. He can feel that he is significantly stronger now and reaches further. He attempts to harness the power of Super Saiyan using Super Saiyan God, and because he could in his past life, he achieves it. The power of Super Saiyan Blue invigorates his body, but he doesn't want to add Kaioken onto it just yet. He knows the damage it can cause and he is significantly weaker than he was when facing Hit in the Tournament of Destroyers. If he tried to use that power now, even after mastering Kaioken on its own, he'd be toast. Realizing now that his body might just be strong enough, he ventures further for Ultra Instinct. Calming his mind, he roars and his roar sounds like that of a demon. The water beneath him flies out and almost forms tsunami-like waves from the pressure he exudes. His eyes turn silver and he begins using the super powerful form of UI Omen. The others can't even sense what's happening because he's using God Ki, and he then returns to his base form once he is done. He is still less than 1% of his strength when he was fighting Moro, but he is making sound progress. He is confident that with UI Omen he could take down even the form of himself using Super Saiyan Blue against Frieza when he was revived. Frieza is dead already and his empire is gone, and Goku does anticipate that he will make a return in the coming years. For now though, he has to worry about Babidi and him trying to activate Buu. He flies off to his ship alone this time and doesn't bother with entering the World Tournament just yet. As he arrives, he is met by the likes of Yamu and Spopovich, who act as the first line of defense for Babidi's spaceship. Goku sees them and deems them as nothing to worry about. He can sense their key signatures and knows that they've been possessed. He doesn't want to kill them for something that was likely done against their will, that is having their mind warped in this way, so he knocks them both out with extremely light neck chops. After achieving God Ki, Goku's body absorbed the form's power to invigorate itself further. This means that he has received a significant boost to his strength. He is then put up against the spaceship's warriors at the different levels. Babidi seeks to acquire enough energy to activate and release Majin Buu and thinks this warrior just might do the trick. The first warrior to face Goku is Pui Pui. This warrior stands no chance against him, who just takes him out with a single blast. For the next warrior that he finds, Yakan, all that he needs is regular Super Saiyan to make him absorb too much light. He explodes, and the final fighter for him to take down is Dabura. The two warriors stare each other down and Dabura seems confident. He can't sense ki, but there aren't many people in the world who can take on the mighty Demon King. This is where you die, Saiyan, Dabura declares, shooting out spit at him. Goku knows what this spit of his will do, and so he uses instant transmission to evade his attack entirely. Dabura seems quite annoyed about him easily evading his trump card, however he just flies right at Goku and shouts in the process. He throws slow, sluggish punches that Goku evades with ease. The Saiyan lands a punch to his gut before swiveling to kick him in his head. This launches Dabura away and downward, making him quite annoyed as well. He wipes the blood coming from his face and feels a stinging pain in the areas where he was hit. This feeling of weakness infuriates him and he flies right back in to try and hit Goku again. However, when he tries to throw a punch, Goku dodges it then lands one of his own. Dabura starts eating seriously powerful punches and eventually can't keep up anymore. Even while Goku is still in his base form, his attacks are totally crippling him. Goku then releases a one-hand energy wave that hits Dabura right on. The Demon King is killed in the blast, and as this happens, Babidi has gained enough energy to activate his precious sealed ball. Goku is now transported away from this area and faces it directly. Babidi is also there, elated. I want to thank you so much for helping me release the strongest being in the entire universe. With Majin Buu, not even you will stand a chance against him, Babidi claims, as the ball becomes brown. Goku knows exactly what is inside that odd-looking ball and knows that taking Buu out in one go will require a lot of force. Upon trying to do so though, he thinks about the times that Buu spent with Mr. Satan and how he ended up being a good person. He also even thinks about how he played a major role in the fight against Moro. However, he knows that he could just be revived with the Dragon Balls after he defeats him here. He decides that that will be what he does and he enters his Super Saiyan Blue form. Just his transformation destroys the surrounding ground and he begins emitting intense pressure. Goku charges up his signature attack then launches the Kamehameha wave right at this ball. The blast is so large and fast that even Babidi can't evade it and both Buu and Babidi are vaporized in it. There is absolutely nothing left of Buu and a massive trail is left where the blast tore through the ground. Steam emits off Goku's hands and he just sighs of relief. There we go, Goku states. Now Goku has basically sorted the entire Buu saga before even the World Tournament has started. The Kais are in literal disbelief at what has played out. Somehow this random Saiyan has located Babidi's spaceship with ease, defeated every single fighter that came up against him with that same ease and has finally destroyed Majin Buu. They decide to leave, seeing no need to show themselves to mortals any longer. It is not their job to meddle with mortals' lives when the situation is no longer grave. However, they are more than curious to watch this Saiyan more closely. Raditz over these years has taken a more chillaxed approach to life in recent years. He has still been training with his fellow Saiyans and that is something that he will never stop doing. He has had a child with 18 who I shall just call Raditz Jr. for simplicity. He looks a lot like Raditz and is just a smaller version of him basically. What is different about Raditz Jr. is his attitude. He acts more like a stubborn, hard-headed Saiyan. He acts a lot more like Trunks and he's like how I'd imagine a Saiyan to be in childhood. Vegeta also has a child with Bulma Trunks as usual. The oldest out of Goten, Trunks and Raditz Jr. is instead Raditz Jr. Raditz Jr. is the strongest and is the hardest trainer out of his friends and so just increases the gap between him and them every single day. The youngest is still Goten but only by literally a few days instead of a whole year. Raditz Jr. is the first to access Super Saiyan and even though he can be annoying sometimes, Raditz feels extremely proud to have such a strong warrior to call his son. For the World Tournament, in the youth division, Raditz Jr. ends up going against his cousin Goten in the final. I've been training much harder now, Junior. I'll show you just how strong I am now, Goten claims. Alright then, I'll see about that, he replies. The two warriors stand off before the battle then begins. Goten seems right ahead and throws a quick jab that Raditz is quite impressed with. He still evades the incoming attack with ease and swipes at Goten's legs. This gives him the perfect chance to strike, but Goten manages to block before he is hit with an attack. A punch lands on his forearms and sends him sliding across the gridded arena floor. He begins to roll but then springs back up to his feet to then launch a wave of ki blasts at his opponent. Raditz Jr. begins using the after image effect for flare, making these ki blasts seem like they're hitting him when they're not. After they all go flying out of the arena, Raditz Jr. shoots himself forward and moves much faster than Goten just did. In this battle, Goten must fight rather defensively and is struggling to handle his cousin. He is younger and doesn't possess the same drive and discipline that he does. He continuously gets beat on by his cousin, unable to do anything. How about we take this up a notch, make things more interesting, Raditz Jr. asks, entering his own Super Saiyan form. His long black hair becomes blonde and his eyes switch to the signature blue colour of Super Saiyan. Goten nods in reaction and enters his own Super Saiyan form. The spectacle captivates the surrounding spectators and brings quite a lot of attention onto the two boys. I thought I told them not to show off these forms here, Goku says, a little annoyed. Why fret so much? Let them enjoy their battle, Raditz replies. Goten shouts and flies right at Raditz Jr. with everything he has. Even if he loses, he is not going down without a fight. He throws a flurry of punches and one manages to hit his target right in the face. Raditz Jr. falls back before receiving a kick to his stomach right after. This powerful kick sends him sliding back slightly and he begins smiling upon taking these attacks. I commend you for that, those hits hurt, he says, before lifting his face. His aura becomes wild and explosive and his face looks maniacal. It's like an entirely different beast has been activated in his mind. He flies right at Goten and kicks him off the ring entirely, being deemed the winner. With no Yamu or Spopovich, these fighters can have the tournament that they wish to have. They've all been training in preparation and the finalists are dominated by the Saiyan fighters. In one of the quarterfinals, Piccolo is up against Nappa. Nappa is the weakest Saiyan, but Piccolo has been training hard in these past 7 years. He never stops his training as we know, but has been really focusing on finding cool ways to surpass these Saiyans. He spent a lot more time in this timeline training with them and just training in general. Being overpowered by them and watching them progress more than he does annoys him a lot more, and he doesn't want to just let them surpass him while he does nothing. Piccolo powers up and Nappa is astounded by the power he showcases. He seems stronger than usual and he then flies right at his opponent. Nappa takes his first punch and feels quite an impact behind it before evading another. Piccolo continues to intensely attack this Saiyan and his fighting technique is great, however Nappa can manage him quite easily. Piccolo throws a punch aimed for the Saiyan's head but he slips past it and drives his fist into his gut. This almost cripples Piccolo but he grits his teeth and remains standing. He possesses an unshakable will and doesn't want to lose here. Special beam grenade, he shouts, leaping into the air. A golden ball of energy shoots out from his two fingers, being propelled by a stream of ki with another circular energy beam spinning around it. A large explosion is given off and as the smoke fades, Nappa is revealed with an actual bruise on his arm. The other Saiyans are in disbelief from seeing this move, but then Piccolo places his hands in the form of a triangle. Since when did you learn to use an attack like that? Nappa asked, startled. Don't worry, that's not even the strongest in my arsenal. I learned this attack from a friend and this might just be the strongest attack that I've ever seen, Piccolo says as his hands light up. I decided to work on it and made an upgrade. Super Tri-Beam, Piccolo roars, releasing a powerful energy wave right at Nappa. The Saiyan is forced back and feels quite a lot of pain from taking this blast head on. This is the Super Neo Tri-Beam. Piccolo shouts and then launches another one of these attacks, pushing Nappa back further. Doing this, he begins releasing a barrage of these blasts and doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. After about 10 blasts, he coughs out blood but sees Nappa is just inches from reaching the end of the ring. He now has bleeding arms and Piccolo continues firing them with the last of his energy. Nappa gets knocked off balance with one of these blasts and the final one knocks him off the ring before he even has the chance to transform. The Saiyan is quite honestly stunned and Piccolo coughs out even more blood before dropping to his knees. All that he has is a smile on his face before he falls onto his left arm after losing consciousness. He is given a senzu bean to heal himself and is delighted by the way he performed. He is happy to have finally defeated a Saiyan even if they were still in his base form and thanks Tien for his contributions. After seeing him use that attack on Semi-Perfect Cell, he just couldn't help himself but ask him to teach it to him. In the end, the Saiyans fight valiantly in the semi-finals and the final, but they all know who the strongest fighter is. Raditz is given the shot to try and take down his brother in the final, but he just isn't strong enough to do so. Goku, after absorbing God Ki as well, has become so much stronger that he literally has to hold back not to alarm them. These Saiyans have been training together quite a lot for years and have a general idea around how strong they all are. If Goku was to show himself as being insanely strong, it would put them all off. With this, the end of Dragon Ball Z has now arrived. In this time between Z and Super, a few things happen. Firstly, Goten, Trunks and Raditz Jr. enter the hyperbolic time chamber after seeing their fathers fight so well. They want to become strong like them one day and intensely train against each other while inside. Bulma can supply them with extra supplies so that more than 2 people can be inside the chamber at once, and they want to learn more. Upon seeing how well Piccolo fought against Nappa, they want to go under his wing. Piccolo feels honoured to train up some young Saiyans and is willing to show them some of his attacks if he deems them worthy. For this, they enter the hyperbolic time chamber again and face him. Upon doing so, they immediately realise how strong he is. Piccolo has continuously gotten stronger and might not have an extremely strong base form, but his attacks are enough to injure and defeat those that are tens if not hundreds of times stronger than himself. He also fights with a certain technical skill that the Saiyan children could only dream of having. With a few extra years training outside the chamber, the kids have grown a lot in quite a short amount of time. Raditz can now utilise the power of Super Saiyan 3 that he hates quite a lot from how long it makes his hair be. The other two, Goten and Trunks, are now on Super Saiyan 2, reaching for the next form that Raditz Jr. currently has. With this form that he has, that is 4 times above Super Saiyan 2, Raditz Jr. has settled himself as the strongest juvenile Saiyan on Earth. Goten and Trunks in canon are weaker than, but not much weaker than the likes of Goku and Vegeta. I mean, most of the time Gotenks is said to be above Goku in terms of just comparing base forms. With this training, Raditz Jr. only further bridges the gap between him and the older Saiyans, but he isn't there just yet. Across the universe, the God of Destruction has awoken and desires to face the Super Saiyan God he saw in his dreams. Upon waking up, the Oracle Fish gives the two an odd message. There is a Saiyan with power that rivals the gods, a mortal that has harnessed the power of Ultra Instinct to its full extent. Beerus just chuckles upon hearing this. A Saiyan, a mortal with Ultra Instinct. These Saiyans were the same Saiyans that were just strong enough to destroy planets, the race that he asked Frieza to destroy decades ago. He can't even use Ultra Instinct fully, so it must be a joke. Whis is more wise and takes it more seriously and decides to take Beerus to where some Saiyans could remain in his universe, Earth. A Saiyan with Ultra Instinct. Either this Oracle Fish is talking complete garbage, or I might be in for one of the most interesting fights of my entire life. Before Beerus' arrival, Goku has been doing a lot of training with the Saiyans. He lies to all of them again about how he managed to gain the power of God Ki. Luckily for him, they all believe his lies, and he just doesn't want to reveal that he is a reborn person. The thing is, he's not even sure if the Saiyans will react badly, but his uncertainty is what makes him keep that a secret. All the Saiyans gain access to God Ki through respective rituals being used on them. They all absorb the power of God Ki after some time, becoming far stronger. Goku still reigns supreme as the strongest due to his highest level of training. He is by far the most disciplined Saiyan, but Vegeta comes in close second. It annoys him that even though Vegeta wants to work harder than him to overcome his talent, it seems impossible. With somebody more talented than him that also works harder than he does, he is doomed to forever remain his inferior, and this infuriates him. During battle, Vegeta has had enough of remaining under Goku. In a fit of rage, he utilizes the power of Super Saiyan along with Super Saiyan God to attain Super Saiyan Blue for the first time. This brings him right up to second place, snugly behind Goku, with Raditz and Nappa being forced to work hard to catch up with the other two Saiyans. Raditz was relishing in his superiority and quite clearly got complacent. Now he wants to catch up to the Saiyan Prince so that he can reclaim his title as second place. For now though, something else happens. While the Saiyans are all together training, someone starts to descend from the skies. These are the two gods Beerus and Whis. The first person to retreat from them as they see this happen is Vegeta. He knows exactly who these two are, and Nappa vaguely recognizes them. He remembers Beerus specifically being in a meeting with Vegeta's father one time and seeing these two people walking through the halls. They land in the rocky wasteland that they're training in, and Beerus immediately confronts them all. "Hello Saiyans, I've come here looking for the Super Saiyan God. Which one of you claims that title?" he asks, looking around. The Saiyans now know what he's talking about and think about the visions that Goku said that he was having, the power that they now have. They all are Super Saiyan gods. "If you're looking for the Super Saiyan God, you're looking right at him," Vegeta claims, walking forward. "Don't lie Vegeta, we're all Super Saiyan gods," Raditz says, making Beerus stunned with surprise. "Wait, so you all have the power that I wish to see?" Beerus asks. Goku nods before entering his Super Saiyan God form. Vegeta does the same along with Raditz and Nappa. The four Saiyans stand side by side with his godly power, and Beerus looks very excited. You were the one I saw in my dreams. He looks like you," Beerus says, pointing right to Goku. "If it's a fight you want, then fine, I'll fight you," Goku says, stepping forward. Upon seeing him act so boldly and confidently, Beerus can't help but laugh. "You mortals, it seems you don't understand the strength of the person you're trying to face," Beerus says, making his stance. He envelops in the power of his Fury state, now in a gleaming purple aura. He flies right toward Goku and the battle begins. Goku evades the first punch that comes his way just slightly. He can see his fist soar past his face and he is forced to back away at top speed to evade the sweeping kick that comes from the god. "What a fast attack, I really forgot how fast Beerus was," Goku says in excitement. "Just who is that guy?" Raditz asks, totally confused. As they arrived, it seemed like the other Saiyans knew who these people were, but Raditz has no idea. He was never that high up in Frieza's army to see Beerus. "He's one of the strongest beings I've ever seen. As much as we've grown stronger, I don't think we'll be strong enough to overcome him." That statement means a lot coming from the arrogant Saiyan that is Vegeta. He can tell that he feels annoyed to even admit that about him, but in the fight that is going on it's evident. Goku can't even properly hit him. He gets beat around and can't actually deal any substantial noteworthy damage. He's simply too weak and too slow. Goku flies forward and at the last second uses instant transmission to arrive by his back. He keeps moving forward with that same momentum, but Beerus flies over his incoming punch to remain untouched. He then performs an aerial backflip to then force his foot into Goku's back. He is shot down into the rocky ground beneath and weakly raises up after receiving such a heavy blow. "You have entertained me, but I think you've reached your limit. I can see that you're no longer growing in strength," Beerus says, standing over him. "You may not know, but I am a god of destruction. I haven't been as captivated by this fight as I thought I would have been, so I think it's time to destroy your planet along with yourselves," Beerus says, aiming his hand down at the planet. "I guess the prophecy from that fish was nothing but bogus after all," Beerus thinks, displeased. "Destroy the planet? He said he'd destroy Earth," Raditz blurts out, attempting to step in to fight with Goku. The first person to stop him though is Nappa. He places his mammoth arm in front of him and signals for him to step down. "If Goku can't even beat him, what do you think any of us could do?" Goku stands, but Vegeta knows there is more. If he has achieved the form of Super Saiyan Blue, even if Goku has hidden it from them, he should have it too. Anything that Vegeta has achieved, Goku has gotten it first or has even helped him to a slow second place. "Don't fret, the fight is not over," Vegeta claims, still watching the battle attentively. Goku gets up to his feet before cracking his knuckles and lightly stretching. "This isn't all my power, Beerus. I have more that I can show you," Goku claims. This piques Beerus' interest and he then relaxes his hand. "Show me." Goku nods, then exhales calmly. His aura fades and he returns to his base form, but he then starts going down a different path in his power. Not down the path of saying godly power, but purely divine strength, Ultra Instinct. His eyes become silver and he envelops in the mystical aura of Ultra Instinct Omen. So it's true, he really does have Ultra Instinct. This is truly unbelievable. Whis watching this can't believe that it's true. It literally doesn't make any sense in his mind whatsoever. How could a Saiyan that is never supposed to have seen an angel in his life before today possess the power of Ultra Instinct to such a degree? Goku flies right back toward Beerus and lands a quick sucker punch that bends him over. He holds his stomach in pain and is surprised with how much force there was behind that strike. Beerus responds with a punch of his own, but Goku's head tilts out of the way as if it's a reflex. He continues with a heavy assault using immense speed. The spectating Saiyans can't even track him or Goku, but they can see that his attacks just aren't connecting. Beerus tries to hit him in the face, but Goku then catches his punch to land a quick strike to his chest. This strike takes Beerus off guard, and since he has suppressed himself so greatly, he feels it a little bit. He holds his chest not from the pain, but just from the sheer confusion that a mere mortal can make him feel something from their attacks. He lets out a quick laugh before his fury form manifests once again. He drives his fist into Goku's stomach and his attack is too spontaneous and fast for even Goku's Ultra Instinct to handle. The impact debilitates him, dropping him to his knees, then Beerus speedily arrives by his back to kick him powerfully. This launches him forward and sends him rolling for about 100 meters. The Saiyan slowly comes to a stop and tries to continue fighting on, but those two attacks were just too much for his body. He coughs blood, falling back into his base form and feels a lot of physical strain. Just like what happened in canon in the Tournament of Power, his body doesn't do a particularly good job at harnessing this power for the first time basically. He achieved it once before teaching his friends GOKU, but didn't really use the form for that long. Beerus aims down as he walks toward the fallen Goku, aiming to take away his planet completely. "Please Beerus, I beg of you, don't destroy this planet," Goku pleads. As Beerus walks ahead, Whis then appears ahead of him. "Beerus, you must stand down here. This is a very peculiar situation and I need to question this Saiyan further. His Ultra Instinct is imperfect, but it's there. The fact that it's there shouldn't be possible," Whis says, aiming his staff at Goku. Goku's wounds vanish and he feels just as healthy as he was before the fight even began. I want you Saiyans to come and train with me for some time. I understand if you wish to decline, Whis offers, as Goku raises up. Yes, I'll accept the offer. I'll ask the other Saiyans if they wish to come too, Goku says. Goku asks Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz if they wish to train under Whis, and all of them agree to do so. They are bewildered by Goku's weird power that he's shown, and even Vegeta is too. He was expecting to see Super Saiyan Blue, but he saw something totally different. It was an insanely divine power. His aura looked pristine and he looked like a true god. With this, the Saiyans make their departure and head off to begin their training. During this time, the young Saiyans are all still training. Raditz Jr., Goten and Trunks are all training together and training under Piccolo. He has taught them his techniques, and what comes now is the Resurrection F Saga. Frieza descends onto Earth with his army, and the first to act as resistance are the trio. Raditz Jr. arrives there first and lands in a group of Frieza soldiers. They try to attack him from all directions, but just his transformation into Super Saiyan shoots away many of them. He then begins slaughtering them one by one, fighting like a true Heartless Saiyan warrior. He lays into these weak fighters, and Goten and Trunks arrive shortly after. Just these three kids remove more than half of the army that has followed Frieza here, and then Frieza decides to try and take out these warriors himself. With him, the group that follow him are the Ginyu Force. The person that stands at the front of this group is Captain Ginyu. Hello there children, you must be the children of those Saiyans I saw a long time ago. However, I see no need to keep you all alive. You have caused more than enough damage to my empire, and so I believe that it's right for me to take you all out now, Frieza claims. Ginyu Force, lay waste to them. Captain Ginyu goes straight for Raditz Jr., but Trunks steps ahead and lands a punch to the incoming Raccoon that was behind Captain Ginyu. He kills him with that attack alone, then Berta rushes straight for Goten. You stand no chance against me, kid. I'm the fastest fighter in the universe, Berta claims. He zooms forward and Goten sees one of the most sluggish punches that he has ever seen in his entire life. It's like he's moving in complete slow motion, and all the young boy has to do is punch him before his fist reaches him. This is what he does, and he shatters his armor, also killing him in the process. Trunks then goes for Goldo, and the small Ginyu fighter decides to use his breath-holding ability to stop time. He sees all the fights around him come to a standstill, then he decides to try and land a punch on Trunks. He starts time once again, but sees that his punch does no damage. He still goes flying down into the ground from Trunks charging toward him, and a single punch is all that it takes to take him down. Jace and Ginyu are the only fighters left, and Jace looks quite scared from how quickly these Saiyans dismantle his own crew. The Ginyu Force are supposed to be a super group of some of the strongest fighters from the entire galaxy. However, they've been dropped like they were just flies. Raditz Jr. shoots a key blast at Jace and kills him with that blast alone. The Saiyan then dashes ahead and aims right for Ginyu. Before he can even use his swap skill, he is taken out with a single punch from Raditz Jr. and left to slide across the ground. He slides away and reaches Frieza's side, but then the Emperor hops out of his pod. I'm surprised with how well you managed to defeat my men. I must say I'm impressed. However, I will slaughter you all as punishment. You have given up your lives from your foolishness, Frieza declares. Raditz Jr. steps forward confidently and Super Saiyan and charges it right for the Emperor. The two fighters clash and Raditz immediately takes the upper hand. The two fighters push at each other fiercely, each trying to overpower the other. Eventually though, Raditz Jr. shoves him away to then land a clean punch right to his jaw. The powerful impact drops him to his hands and knees, making him hold his chest in pain. This pain fuels his fury and he dashes right ahead to try and attack the Saiyan. He throws a straight ahead punch, but the Saiyan slips past his incoming attack to whip a kick into his abdomen. Frieza is totally winded by that kick, then receives a combination of punches that he literally can't block or handle. Come on Junior, Trunks says from the sidelines. Raditz Jr. feels even more confident with those words of encouragement and continues his complete domination. A final punch makes blood shoot out of Frieza's nose and the Emperor has quite frankly had enough. He steps back, unwilling to just get hit in the face over and over again. He enters his final form and looks sleeker and more powerful. Alright then Saiyan, let's see just how well you do against me now, Frieza shouts, flying ahead to kick Raditz Jr. in his stomach. The kick takes the wind right out of him and he starts intensely coughing after taking such a blow. However, he isn't willing to stop there. No, not when he's only used an eighth of his strength. The Saiyan valiantly raises, showing no intention to back down. His bravery takes Frieza slightly off guard and he erupts in his golden aura once again. You're going down, Frieza, Raditz Jr. shouts, entering his Super Saiyan 3 form. He rushes right back to Frieza and lands a punch to his face before taking one to his own chin. The two exchange blows and seem to be like equals. However, this isn't a form that the Saiyan can maintain for very long at all. Soon his punches become more sluggish and Frieza can see that he is tiring out. Frieza isn't losing stamina at all really, because this is his ordinary form. The other states that he utilizes are merely suppressions to his normal power. Raditz Jr., tired and beaten, shouts and runs forward to slug forward his fist. Frieza takes the punch to his chest before giving out an arrogant chuckle. He lands a tornado kick to his abdomen, crippling him before knocking him to the floor with a whip-like attack from his tail. The young Saiyan falls onto his hands and knees, and Goten and Trunks look extremely scared. As they try to run forwards to help, Frieza aims 2 fingers at the 2 of them. "Don't move forwards if you know what's good for you," Frieza shouts. Trunks looks to Goten, then takes a step forward. A death beam is shot at him, but Vegeta appears and swipes the blast away completely. "How dare you try and attack my son," Vegeta shouts. In the very next second, Frieza receives a devastating punch from a random fighter that sent him flying. "It's okay, Junior, I'm here now," Raditz says, standing in front of his fallen son. "You fought bravely, I respect you. I knew you had a strong, courageous heart," Raditz says, with praise. "You, Frieza, I've had enough of you," Raditz shouts, flying over to him in Super Saiyan God. Frieza chuckles upon seeing him advance, then clenches his fists. "You've signed a death wish, Raditz," Frieza declares, entering his golden form. His transformation forces Raditz to stay put from the pressure it outputs, but the Saiyan continues to stand there unfazed. "You got a new transformation? I got 2, Raditz replies, entering his stronger new form of his. He is clothed in an aura of powerful blue ki, and Frieza still looks confident in his own powers. Frieza zooms forward and punches him in his chest, only to see him not move at all. Frieza throws forward another strike in quick succession, only to see nothing happen at all. This surprises the Emperor because he really thought after this training period of his he'd be strong enough. Raditz just slaps him across the face and causes literal ringing in his left ear. He then slaps him across the face with his other hand, smiling from the pleasure he gets from this. Frieza soon has a face covered in blood from these very powerful strikes, then Raditz throws in 2 uppercuts to his gut that drop him to his knees. Frieza is too weak to continue and reverts to his base form. Raditz then holds his hand up to his head and prepares to blast the Emperor. "Wait, Raditz, I can give you a high-ranking role in my empire. You can be my right-hand man. I'll give you planets, more money than you could ever spend in your lifetime," Frieza proposes. "Do you think I care? I'd much rather destroy the entire empire that you have rebuilt. We've done it at least once, why not do it again?" Raditz states. He lifts his other hand, then uses the double Sunday attack. Before Frieza can do anything, he is hit by the energy wave and vaporized in the process. As the smoke around the scene thins, he just smiles at the Frieza-less crater he has formed with satisfaction. Following this, it's totally over for the Emperor and his plans have been foiled quite quickly. What is to come though is the Tournament of Destroyers. For now, Goku is currently training with Whis and is using the power of not just UI Omen but mastered Ultra Instinct. Whis hasn't even really started training the Saiyans to use the form, but it seems that Goku is already a step ahead. "Goku, are you from the future?" Whis asks as they spar. He is well away from the other Saiyans and has done this to make sure that he doesn't end up alarming them. "No, I'm not. I see you've picked up on how I have this power," Goku says, dodging an attack coming from the Angel Staff. "If not, you have to have been reincarnated in some way. Nevertheless, it's clear that you don't want to readily reveal that information, so I shall let you continue as you please." During this time, Goku has a main mission, and that is to acquire Broly somehow. He believes that it's better if they take him early and before Frieza can get his hands on him. If Frieza needs to be used in the tournament, then he will be, but he would be more than happy with Broly taking the Tyrant's position entirely. He lacks control and it would be better to start letting him hone his skills from a much earlier time. There are a few months here and Goku heads off planet in search of Planet Vampa. He can sense Broly's key signature from afar, recognizing it from his past life, and teleports there instantly. Raditz has returned home to be with his family for a time and he has been bugged by the kids to try and fight them. It makes him quite happy to see that they've been training so hard while they've all been gone, and as much as he wants to say otherwise, he has been missing them. "Alright then, show me what you've all got," Raditz says, while still in his base form. Raditz Jr. shoots toward his father and enters his Super Saiyan transformation. Goten and Trunks follow suit, also charging ahead. Raditz takes the first punch from his son and is surprised by the power behind it. Goten tries to attack him from the back while he looks occupied, but the back of him is certainly not his blind spot. He leaps into the air and remains untouched, but then Raditz lifts his arms. Raditz Jr. makes a triangular shape with them and enters his Super Saiyan 3 form. "No way," the Saiyan says, watching this glow from below him. The Super Neo Tri-Beam is hurled in his direction and soars up the sky. Raditz is hit by it head on, receiving quite a hefty bruise on his arms as he takes the impact. The attack causes a large explosion that dents the surrounding ground. Raditz Jr. then shoots another of these blasts in quick succession, but Raditz just manages to evade before he gets seriously hurt. The three Saiyans continue completely harassing the older Saiyan, and he has to say he is quite astonished with what they're capable of doing. The power they've gained through just their own training is very surprising. Raditz, however, enters his Super Saiyan form and lands a gut punch to Trunks that drops him to his knees. He then lands a 1-inch punch to Goten's chest and finishes off with a heavier kick onto his son's chest to finish the 3 off in one combination of attacks. I must say, all of you have really exceeded my expectations. I don't know what Piccolo has been teaching you all this time, but it's certainly working, Raditz says, praising the trio. There is a few seconds of silence between the group as the kids muster the strength to get back up onto their feet. Father, could you please train all of us? Raditz Jr. asks. Well, I can take you to somebody who can make you all leagues stronger in mere weeks. He's a god and he's been training people like me, Vegeta and Kakarot all this time. Goten looks a little bummed out because he knows his mother will be reluctant to let him go off-world. They go over to her and actually persuade her to let him train for a brief period. He is very strong and has great potential and could make a lot of progress through learning God Ki from a person like Whis. Raditz Jr. has quite the warrior mentality and Raditz wonders if Ultra Instinct will be the right thing for him. It's the same thing that he thinks about himself. The mentality behind Ultra Instinct just isn't something he feels like he could grow accustomed to. After this, the Saiyans head to Beerah's planet and begin their training. Here they access the power of God Ki and learn pristine martial arts technique from the Angel Whis himself. Raditz Jr. starts shining and with God Ki has rivaled even Nappa when they use the same state. Their base forms grew quite a lot when training under Piccolo and amongst themselves, while they are also hybrid Saiyans. This gives them quite the edge in terms of their potential and growth rate. Goten and Trunks are behind slightly but aren't far off. Nappa has a lot of trouble when it comes to facing them both at once when they're all using Super Saiyan God. Goku can use MUI with ease as usual and is continuing to grow his base form. Broly is his main form of focus now because he sees that he has a lot of potential. He won't even dare give the man God Ki now because just off sparring the others he has reached their level. Super Saiyan Broly now gives Super Saiyan Blue Goku a run for his money. If he was to then get Super Saiyan God, it would become very problematic for the others to try and control him. Whis would have to force his hand to neutralize him. What comes up now is the Tournament of Destroyers. Goku is very surprised by the insane abilities of the Saiyans up at Beerah's planet now. There's a lot of them now and a strong sense of community between them. Nappa, Raditz and Vegeta tell them of old stories of how Planet Vegeta was really like and their times as warmongering Saiyans. It was evil, the things they did, but they still look back on those times with nostalgia. This time Goku doesn't even head for the tournament. This is because he knows that Zamasu is going to take the body of whoever performs best at the Tournament of Destroyers. He wants to stop that from happening completely, but he just isn't sure if he can do so. Zamasu's in Universe 10 and he instead plans to take them out once he gets the chance. When Goku abstains from participating in this event, Vegeta wants to be like him and does the same. If Goku feels like it's below him, he must also feel the same way. They take the trio being Raditz Jr., Goten and Trunks. Finally they add Raditz into the mix. He's just there to make sure that if the kids mess up, he can step in and finish things off for them. Before the tournament begins, they still have their training period in the hyperbolic time chamber. These 4 Saiyans hop in together and spend a year, with extra resources being provided by Bulma's special capsules. Following this event, the 4 Saiyans who are set to participate have grown much stronger. Raditz has soared past Vegeta and is now the 3rd strongest Saiyan at the moment. He is still behind Goku and Broly, with Super Saiyan Broly well above even Raditz. Raditz Jr. is now even a considerable amount above Nappa. Goten and Trunks have both grown in strength and are now stronger than Nappa. He'd have absolutely no chance trying to stop them both together now. For the first match against Botamo, Goten is up. He struggles to get the large warrior off the ring because he can absorb the impact of all his punches. Therefore he kind of just grabs him and throws him off the ring once he realizes he can do that. Next he is up against Frost. Goten in this series scales above even base Goku from canon. Before training under Whis, he was around Buu Saga Goku's level. This was due to the intense training with Piccolo and the other young Saiyans for several years. So to start off, Frost is struggling to even keep up with him. He is forced to enter his 3rd form that he calls his final form. Hey, that isn't your final form, you should have another one, a stronger one. Frost is taken aback by how this kid is just blocking or dodging every single one of the attacks that he tries to throw. It's kind of creepy, but he isn't going all out. He enters his final form just as requested by his opponent and speeds toward Goten. He throws his first punch, but Goten slips past it and lands a powerful punch to his open chest area. The punch sends him staggering back and he has a cracked sternum from the impact. He wheezes in pain, grasping onto his chest before looking back at the kid. It's so confusing to him how a kid so small and feeble looking could pack that much of a punch. Beerus is just watching this elated. Goten, one of the weaker Saiyans living on his planet, in his base form has managed to give Frost a seriously tough time. Goten steps back, then begins powering up. His hair flows gracefully and his power starts to skyrocket. His hair becomes a bright red and he enters his Super Saiyan God form. Goten lags Super Saiyan God a lot more than the ordinary Super Saiyan form since it's way stronger and has practically no stamina drain. He takes Frost off guard with his assault and lands a single punch to his gut that launches him off the ring. Frost has been eliminated. Who knew this universe would be so weak? Aren't we supposed to be like twin universes or something? Raditz Jr. asks, annoying the god of destruction that overhears him. Watch your tone, boy. You've only seen the very weakest of us. Your team stands no chance against the people that are about to show up now, Champa declares. Facing Ultimagetta, Goten soon notices that this mechanical fighter can also take a lot of his damage. He's a tough opponent literally, and he won't be breaking him apart very easily. Goten ends up insulting the fighter out of frustration, making the metal fighter throw himself out the ring. What comes up next is Goten facing Cabba. Sadly, Vegeta won't be here to teach Cabba and give him the powers of Super Saiyan. However, Goten is also fascinated to see a Saiyan like himself. Greetings, Cabba, Goten says with politeness, cupping his fists and bowing. Greetings, Cabba says, rather awkwardly. He finds it weird that this young Saiyan is being so polite even though they're in a tournament against each other. Cabba begins and shouts while charging toward Goten. His first punch doesn't land and he soon realizes that there's literally nothing he can do to hit Goten. No matter how much effort he puts in, Goten seems to find a way to evade at just the right time. Why don't you go Super Saiyan, Goten asks, letting Cabba punch his chest. I'm sorry kid, but I don't know what that means, he says, before throwing a kick to his head. This hit lands again, but Goten just doesn't move. He grabs his leg and throws it to the side slightly before continuing. This is what I mean, Goten says, entering his Super Saiyan form. Goten looks startled, falling back a few steps upon seeing him power up. Can you not transform too? Goten asks, while Cabba shakes his head. How do you even do that? Cabba asks, fascinated by his glowing appearance. Well, you just need to have a strong emotion of some sort, a need, Goten explains. What are you doing, Cabba? This is not time for chit chat. Eliminate that Saiyan immediately, Champa roars. Cabba, forced into action, leaps forward, but Goten grabs him, then throws him out the ring before he can do anything else. I'm sorry Cabba, but I have to win this tournament, Goten replies. The following fighter that Goten has left to face is Hit, the trump card of Universe 6. Champa watches on tensely because if Hit can't do the job, it's over. Beerus would have a perfect run, having none of his fighters get eliminated. The thing is, this fighter doesn't even look like his strongest fighter. In the stands there is a grown Saiyan that looks massive and he refuses to believe that this kid here is stronger than him. The fight begins and Goten gives his usual polite greeting to the large Hit. Greetings, I hope we have a great fight. Hit doesn't reply and doesn't even respond in any physical way. The fight begins and he swat kicks the young Saiyan in his chest, throwing him back. He doesn't usually fight on the offensive like this, but he's been willed into a more aggressive fighting style after being given an order to do so by his god of destruction. Goten feels a lot of pain in his chest after taking that attack and even drops to a knee from the pain. Just as he sees Hit charging toward him again, he enters his Super Saiyan God form and catches the punch aimed right for his head. The punch still forces him back, but he puts up a force. Hit doesn't want to believe that he is weaker than this kid, and so he pushes back himself. The two push against each other as hard as they can, but Hit is pushed back. He has only his fist to resist with, only one arm, and so Goten gets the upper hand. Getting back up to his feet, he shouts at the top of his lungs and shoots Hit away from his growing aura. His aura switches from red to blue and he enters his Super Saiyan blue form. Once his transformation finishes, he assails Hit with a punch to his gut, then tries to attack him again. However, he disappears, then he receives a punch right to his face. The punch isn't impactful at all and he can't really see Hit anywhere. He struggles to locate the warrior, then he feels him heading straight for him from behind. Goten leaps right over him as he nears, then throws down a kick only to realise that he disappears again. However, Hit's attack is too easy to detect. He comes flying down with a kick, but Goten rolls forward to evade his incoming attack. As Hit lands, Goten turns around swiftly and launches a ki blast to try and catch the assassin. His blast is too fast and he is forced to take his blow head on. This leaves a nasty bruise on his forearms, then Goten tries to take him by surprise with his immense speed. This is something that he succeeds in doing and he wallops him with a punch to the face, then follows up with a wave of punches to keep him occupied. Hit is too occupied by taking these devastating strikes that he struggles to even use his time skip. He does end up doing so and punches Goten in his face with as much force as he can muster, only to see that the boy's head barely jerks back in response. Just as Hit lands this punch, Goten swerves himself around, then lands a punch square on his chest to throw him right off the ring. At the hands of a single warrior from Universe 7, the strongest warriors of Universe 6 have been defeated. Good job Goten, Raditz says with praise, lifting off his seat with applause. Beerus is also clapping, but he just looks to his brother to taunt him. The tournament has ended and Universe 7 reigned victorious in a complete landslide. With no future timeline, Zamasu has no timeline to escape to. Goku has realised this and knows that it's not long before Zamasu goes down the dark path of trying to swap bodies with a Saiyan to gain their strengths. Judging from the stories told to him about the Tournament of Destroyers, he's sure that the person is going to end up being Goten. He was the only Saiyan that actually participated in the tournament from Universe 7, and he did so with a perfect run, not being eliminated by any foe. However, if he can get Beerus to stop him like he does in canon without any sort of warning from the future, then he should be able to stop him altogether. It's not like there is a Goku Black still lingering in a future timeline that simply doesn't exist. Therefore, he comments to Whis about how there is a god called Zamasu that hates all mortals and that Beerus should eliminate him before he causes further damage. Whis is very cautious and doesn't know how a god could go down this path. However, he takes heed of Goku's advice and takes Beerus there just to see how the god is. They interrogate Gowasu and Zamasu upon arrival, and Gowasu seems totally oblivious to what's going on. He's never even thought of Zamasu acting in such a hateful way, but Zamasu has his key cloaked hand behind his back. Before he can be called to action though, Beerus arrives in front of him. So the rumours were true. How surprising, Beerus says, before turning him to dust with the power of Hakai. Zamasu is no more and the threat of him is totally gone now. This means that what is to come is the Tournament of Power. Goku is confident in his team with the kids now all capable of Super Saiyan Blue. This is the time that the kids are allowed to return to Earth. Their mothers are worried sick about them just leaving, and they are happy to see they're doing just fine. They've grown taller and many of them are as tall as, if not taller than their mothers now. Raditz Jr. is the largest and is already taller than Goku by this point, since Raditz looks to be like 6'3" or something like that. With such a high number of Saiyans at the ready to help, Goku believes that they'll win this tournament by a landslide. Goku is friends with Zeno just like before, and it's like they're already friends from the way he talks. He is hyped up to have this Tournament of Power and Zeno agrees to letting it happen. Before the tournament there is a competition between the Gods of Destruction and then Goku and Toppo. Toppo, the future god of destruction of Universe 11, stands tall and confidently against Goku. Goku knows that this guy stands no chance against him. If he whips out Ultra Instinct, then he'll win seconds later if he actually tries. Toppo dashes forward, and without his aura of a god from utilizing God Ki, it won't be easy for him to hit Goku. The Saiyan manages to use Ultra Instinct within his base form and evade his first punch, stepping back. He may not be using all of Ultra Instinct, but this mere portion is all he needs to evade this attack. To close the distance again, Toppo wildly throws a hook to Goku's face, but the Saiyan dips under it before rolling forward and standing back up to make his stance. Each time he tries to land an attack on him, he can seamlessly evade it and remain unscathed. However, nobody has seen him throw a punch yet. How about we step this up and use God Ki, Goku asks, making Toppo smile. So you can use the aura of a god technique as well. I should have realised you would be skilled enough to use a technique of that sort, Toppo replies. He uses his aura of a god power, but Goku remains vigilant and awaits his advance. Goku, from training at this divine level from youth in this second life, has become way stronger. The gap between him and Raditz isn't perceivable since he doesn't go full power against them ever really. That gap though is extremely large. Toppo comes running in with an impactful strike and Goku takes it head on. It gives off an intense shockwave, sending him sliding back across the arena. The next attack comes his way in quick succession and Goku knows he can't just take a punch like that again. His base form just doesn't have enough power and he ascends into Super Saiyan God before teleporting away. Toppo looks startled upon seeing nothing, then turns around to see Goku standing before him with God Ki. It took you a while, Saiyan, Toppo says, making his battle stance once again. However, he is taken aback by the sudden advance by Goku, which he can't even react to properly. He is stricken and defeated. Goku doesn't even need to move higher up and use those greater forms of his. He could already use MUI before he was even supposed to know of Beerus and the gods, and the gap between him and this man is great. Soon after, each universe have to form their teams for the tournament. With 10 members for Universe 7, this is how it goes. Firstly, everyone from Beerus planet is sent to participate. Chi-Chi is very reluctant upon hearing the nature of such a dangerous event, but it's explained to her that the fate of the universe rests on this tournament. To be honest, Goten really doesn't need to go since they have enough firepower elsewhere, but to say that he won't be a valuable asset is just false. The first 4 chosen are Goku, Vegeta, Raditz and Nappa. During this time, Raditz and Nappa have diverted away from the path of Ultra Instinct but have instead become more interested in Beerus' power of destruction. They are nowhere near the power of Ultra Ego but can convert material into energy to form massive explosions. The next 3 chosen are Raditz Jr., Goten and Trunks. These kids all scale slightly above Nappa and will be more than valuable assets to the team. For the remaining 3 spots, Piccolo is chosen to take up one of them. After learning Tien's Neo Tri-Beam, then refining it even further, they believe that he could be impactful to the team. The next member chosen is Gohan. He might not be strong now, but he has great potential, and upon seeing his young brother and cousin so powerful, it makes him want to try and achieve the power that he once had a long time ago. The final spot is given to Tien, since he has become decent friends with Piccolo. They've been training on Earth from time to time, and since Tien isn't fully human, he outclasses Krillin. The 10-member team is sorted, and it's almost fully Saiyans. Saiyans with God Ki for that matter. With so many Saiyans, they are able to complete the ritual on Gohan to give him the power of Super Saiyan God right away. This gives him an instant boost to his power, but he is still way weaker than even Goten and even Piccolo really. However, this is when comparing bases. When he uses Super Saiyan God, he is definitely way stronger than Piccolo. Piccolo and Gohan train together, each reaching their limits. Instead of fighting Tien all the time, Piccolo is grateful to be fighting somebody that is far stronger than even himself. The team head to the tournament and it begins. The 10 members disperse while Tien and Piccolo stay close by each other. As for the other Saiyans, they have other plans. Goku dispatches of the weaker members of the Pride Troopers. They are all like flies to him and don't really cause him any trouble. Gohan encounters the trio of danger, being Lavender, Basil and Bergamo. Unlike before, he now has the power of God Ki and is ready to face them. He shouts and enters his Super Saiyan God form, rushing Lavender before he even has the chance to properly react. He SWAT kicks him out the ring before grabbing Bergamo by the arm and spinning around violently to also throw him out. Before he can attack Basil though, Raditz Jr. comes out of nowhere and lands a kick to the side of his abdomen to eliminate him. He then slides across the arena from this gathered momentum and has done all that in his base form. Who knew these people would be so weak, Raditz Jr. realizes, before grabbing the punch of a fighter to throw them off the battlegrounds. Frost is in this tournament and is terrified to see the young Goten approaching him. He was eliminated before he even had the chance to use his poison in the Tournament of Destroyers, and the young kid charges at him. He cowers away in fear only to receive a punch from base form Goten that is so strong he feels like his internal organs are going to burst. Frost drops down to his knees, holding his stomach in complete agony before Goten grabs his free tail. He lifts the man above his head before hurling him off the ring to take him out the tournament. Across the tournament grounds, Piccolo and Tien face Dispo while Raditz Jr. and Raditz are stood facing Topper. Raditz speed blitzes him and grabs Topper's head before entering his Super Saiyan Blue form. "You are nothing to us," he declares, while Raditz Jr. then dashes forward to throw several punches into his gut. Topper coughs blood, now on the edge of the ring, before receiving a full-on Neo Tri-Beam from Raditz Jr. directly. Luckily, Raditz Jr. does this in Super Saiyan God and doesn't go full power, so he doesn't just incinerate him. However, he leaves bruises all over his body and launches him off the ring right away. Tien and Piccolo place their hands in a triangular form, launching their Super Neo Tri-Beam together. Dispo has great speed and slips past both attacks with ease. He then speed blitzes Tien, landing a single punch to his stomach that cripples him. He feels nauseous and drops to his knees, while Piccolo then tries to take over the fight for him. He launches his special beam cannon repeatedly and in quick succession, but he just can't seem to hit him or injure him when he does land his beam of energy. "You're far too slow to do anything to me, green guy," Dispo claims, before rushing straight toward Piccolo. Piccolo can't even react to his sudden assault, and he is then saved by Gohan that lands a punch on his face. "Fall back, Piccolo, I'll take him out for you," Gohan shouts in his Super Saiyan God form. Dispo has taken his punch but has received a bruise. The two fighters charge toward each other and slam into each other violently. They seem to be toe-to-toe, but Gohan then stops pushing to throw his enemy off. He then kicks him in his body to force him backward. The two fighters engage in battle and seem to be complete equals. Dispo is nimbler and faster, while Gohan has a larger frame, giving him superior strength and power. However, Gohan isn't landing as many attacks. He hasn't fought as much and tires out before his opponent does. He is forced to take several attacks head on, and Dispo uses his superior speed to totally overwhelm him. He lands a series of punches to his stomach before throwing punches and kicks to his face. Finally, he spins 360 degrees to build momentum and slam the sole of his right shoe right into Gohan's chest. This launches him off his feet while also sending him sliding across the battlefield. Gohan is now bruised and bleeding from his mouth, also very tired. "You've occupied my time for too long now. You were weaker than I expected," Dispo claims, lifting his hand to form a ki blast. As Gohan looks up, his eyes flash blue, then so does his hair. He stands up slowly and looks lifeless, but he then snaps. He starts shouting at the top of his lungs, growing in power at alarming rates. His power seems limitless and just continues to grow and grow. Finally, he ascends into Super Saiyan Blue. With an immediate 50 times boost to his power, there is little that Dispo can do. He then starts running around him with his insane speed, totally disorienting him. Gohan doesn't even look like a person but a ring of energy that he can't escape. Gohan then gut punches him viciously, grabbing his wrist to hurl him out the ring. He defeats Dispo, who is sent right back to the stands to spectate the rest of their tournament. "You did great there, Gohan. Go and eliminate more fighters," Piccolo says, walking up to him. Before Gohan can reply, Jiren comes flying in out of nowhere and punches Piccolo right off the ring before doing the same to an injured Tien. Before he can attack Jiren, Goku kicks him in the side of his body and mere Super Saiyan God. The attack totally wins Jiren and sends him rolling. He throws himself back up to his feet and looks infuriated by the fact he's been injured by someone else. "Move away, son, just get rid of the other universes, I'll defeat him," Goku says with complete conviction. Gohan has complete trust in his father and moves on to engage other targets. During this fight, Kel has totally lost control of herself. She has entered her Super Saiyan Berserk form and Caulifla is trying to get her to try and fuse with her. Goten and Trunks have spent their time trying to fight this warrior who has gone totally ballistic. With each of them far surpassing even Goku from the cannon, the fight doesn't last long. Kel shouts at the top of her lungs and swings down to hit Trunks, who doesn't move. Trunks is much less polite than his friend and is instead arrogant by nature. He grabs Kel and lands a single punch that drops her. Even if she is totally lost due to her rage, the pain is too much for such rage to mask. Trunks then kicks her off the ring and Caulifla watches Kel get eliminated before she can even reach her. Just as she turns to try and view the two kids, all she sees is a fist engulfed in blue ki heading toward her face. Goten punches her in the face and eliminates her too, but held some of his power back. He feels bad just hitting the girl and totally walloping her. Finally, Goku faces Jiren, who has already lost his control from feeling pain from his attack. So, if Jiren is hurt by my attack, that means I should be stronger than I was when using Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken in my previous life. That's some good growth, Goku realizes, watching Jiren blindly charge toward him. Goku doesn't even increase his level of form, but just incorporates Ultra Instinct into the form he's already using. He continues to evade the attacks that come his way, making Jiren even angrier. Goku enters Super Saiyan Blue, then begins using the power of Kaioken times 20. He just uses this form to see if he can use it, and he feels some strain. However, he intends to use it for only one attack. He hits Jiren right in his gut, winding him completely. Goku returns to just Super Saiyan Blue, then decides to try and use a different form for flair. He begins using Master Ultra Instinct, and the gods that still remain are totally shocked. The spectating angels that have become inert are also fascinated by this form that this mortal has managed to achieve. The gods stand to praise the mortal's achievement. The other Universe 7 fighters become gravitated toward Goku, who lightens up the entire arena. He looks like a god as he walks forward to Jiren, who is too weak to even retreat. Each time he steps back, he feels even more pain in his stomach and he does more damage to his internals. He coughs out more blood after taking 2 steps and falls to a knee before using his sheer willpower to keep himself up. Jiren clenches his fist and then grits his teeth, stealing through the pain to throw a punch right at Goku. The Ultra Instinct user evades his attack by just stepping to the side, letting the furious Jiren fall to the floor. Jiren is too weak to even get back up and the intensified pain in his gut is too much for him to look past. "I apologize, Jiren. Do not think that you are not an excellent fighter because you are. There's always one stronger than you when you're immortal. I might be stronger than you, but I pale in comparison to the gods up there," Goku says, lowering himself beside Jiren. "I don't want your pity," Jiren shouts before falling into a coughing fit. As he is on the floor, he lifts one of his arms and begins screaming at the top of his lungs. A ki blast shoots toward Goku and Jiren hits the Saiyan head on. However, once the smoke clears, nothing has happened. The Saiyan is still crouched over him with no injuries whatsoever. "I understand," Goku says before grabbing one of his legs to throw him out the ring. The final fighter is gone and many of the Universe 7 fighters still remain. The only ones eliminated were Piccolo and Tien. Goku leads his universe to victory and receives the final wish from the Super Dragon Balls. He uses his wish to wish back the other universes just like Android 17 did in his past life. He wants to meet people like Jiren again who have amazing potential. Now what is to come is not the Broly arc. Broly has already been found by Goku and Paragus lives soundly on Earth and frequently spends time on Beerus' planet with his son. He doesn't have many friends on Earth, but he spends a lot of time acting as security at Capsule Corp alongside Android 16. Goku has started to get a lot more tense and reserved because he knows exactly what is to come. Moro is about to escape from prison. The group return to Earth for spending some time with their kids and families. Nappa just spends time with Vegeta basically, since he doesn't have a family of his own to go back to. As Goku is on Earth, he is found by Meris and is called to action. He knows what he must do now. He has to defeat Moro. As he just sees the trainee angel, he feels the memories of his past life filling his mind. He holds his head in pain upon feeling the trauma, seeing his friends die. "No, I went back in time to stop that from happening. I'm way stronger now. That ending cannot be a reality," Goku states, clenching his fist with resolution. Maris goes up to Goku kindly, seeing that Goku isn't immediately hostile. "I know what has happened. Let me help defeat Moro," Goku states, clenching his fist. Even though he has spent so much time getting his friends strong enough to face Moro, he doesn't think he'll need them. He'd love to have help here, but he wants to end this entire fight himself. Following Maris, they eventually find their way to New Namek and Goku finds Moro. Just seeing him makes him really angry, since this is the same man that killed him in his past life. Goku isn't here to waste any time because he knows the tactics of this man. He enters his mastered Ultra Instinct state, rising his power to the absolute maximum. In this old decrepit form, he will stand no chance against him now. Goku speed blitzes the old fighter and lands a single punch to his chest that shatters the bones in his chest. This drops him onto the ground with blood dripping out his nose and mouth. Maris is taken off guard by the brutality behind his attack, then Goku rains down with several attacks onto his body while he's still on the ground. "That's for my friend," Goku shouts down to the fallen warrior. With his glowing silver aura and pristine hair, Moro is terrified and totally crippled. He doesn't even have enough energy to get back to his feet, and he weakly tries to summon energy from the surrounding planet and Saiyan. A split second after Goku can see Moro try to do this, he grabs the magician before hurling him into the air. He viciously kicks Moro into the skies before launching the strongest Kamehameha wave he has ever used in his entire life. The blast is so wide that it totally destroys a cloud while also taking Moro with it. The wide blast is launched into the sky and also lights up the surrounding area. Goku roars as he floods every ounce of strength into this attack of his. He doesn't want to leave anything of that man left. Before he could drain energy to heal and rejuvenate himself, Moro is destroyed at even the cellular level. There is nothing left of him and Moro is defeated. Goku just falls back onto the ground, returning to his ordinary base form. He is more than relieved to see that after all these years he has diverted the direction of this timeline. Moro has been defeated before he wreaked havoc on the entire universe with his magic powers. Now with Moro defeated, whatever comes next is a complete mystery to Goku. This is as far as he went in his first life, and it's quite surprising to know that he is mentally twice as old as he is in this life. He is way older mentally than a lot of his friends and is only outclassed by people like Beerus and Whis, who are immortal gods that don't age, and even Master Roshi. Back on Beerus' planet, 5 of the Saiyans on this planet are circled together, with the rest of the Saiyans and gods glued on Broly. They're huddled together here because Broly is going to receive God Ki, and Goku is very happy with the progress he's made. He has learned to control his power quite a lot and can use his Super Saiyan form to its full potential to overpower even Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. He is still slightly below Ultra Instinct Goku, who can use his form to just outdo him with much greater movement. Broly lifts into the sky as the 5 Saiyans enter their Super Saiyan forms, and he is invigorated with the power of God Ki for the first time ever. This form isn't primal in nature and based on the rage of a Saiyan. His anger doesn't grow more than it usually does in his base when he is in this state. This means the Saiyans have a lot more confidence in him that he can control himself when he's in this form. Even though he has slimmed down slightly, he still looks incredibly powerful and large. He does stand at 7'7", well above even Nappa, who is 6'10". The power they can feel from Broly when he enters this form is immense. Beerus watching this just scoffs in annoyance, and Whis knows exactly why he's done this. Beerus has ascended past every god of destruction. To be honest, Goku isn't far off by this point, but he isn't exactly close either. If Broly has gotten this strong, we all need to find a way to keep up. We can't have him remain stronger than us forever, Vegeta declares, with his arms crossed. Vegeta, Raditz and Nappa are stood together, all with the God of Destruction ring on their ears. These 3 Saiyans are the trainees of Beerus, while Goku is the only adult Saiyan advocating for the use of Ultra Instinct. As for the kids, they're not really at that point yet, but Goten is training to become an Ultra Instinct user. He has great fighting technique, and Goku can see that he can just let his body take over when he fights. Raditz Jr. loves the idea of Ultra Ego and is looking forward to learning the power of destruction, while Trunks is kind of stuck in the middle. He is gravitating toward the use of Ultra Ego though, because he wants to just follow down the same path as his father. Granola the Cerealian has gathered the 2 Dragon Balls required to summon the dragon Tarambo. Here he wants to wish to become the strongest fighter in the universe, and his wish is granted. Granola is filled with new power and is only given a year to live, not the full 3 years that he received in canon. Tarambo must use more of his life force to give him the power that he is asking for, since this means that he must ascend past Broly. In this series, Broly is far stronger than Goku was in canon at this point. Goku and the group are all training together, trying to find ways to break past their initial limits. Goku and the Saiyans still have their tails, unlike the hybrid Saiyans that just weren't born with them. Goku has full control of his Uzaru form, a form that he hasn't used in many years. It just hasn't really been a form he's ever had to use, and it only gives a 10 times multiplier. Upon further training, Goku manages to contain the form into his humanoid form, giving him the power of Ikari. The other Saiyans are quick to pick up on this mode of training and begin trying to train their powers. They don't have to focus on complete control of this form, since Goku has to focus on making sure it doesn't alter his mind. He needs to do this so that he can incorporate even Mastered Ultra Instinct to the state. What he is thinking though is not using Mastered Ultra Instinct, but instead Ultra Instinct Omen. He likes that form quite a lot, since he can fight with a certain anger and emotion that he can't do as well in MUI. Maki and Oil head over to Chi-Chi's home to try and find the Saiyans. They want to recruit these Saiyans so that they can get rid of Granola, who poses quite a threat to them. Hearing this message, Goku doesn't know if they're on the bad side. He has no clue and doesn't even know who these people are. Whis gets called by Bulma because of this event that has taken place and looks to Goku, who seems totally clueless. "This is only as far as you went, wasn't it, Goku?" Whis says, when Goku then nods. "Yeah, I haven't seen anything like this," Goku whispers back to make sure his friends don't overhear him. They head back to Earth, but the child Saiyans are left out of this mission. They aren't really needed, and Goku thinks the 3 destruction users, himself and Broly, are all that are needed to try and defeat this foe. They arrive at the planet where Granola is to be found, but initially find no one. "Do you sense anyone?" Goku asks. "I see and sense absolutely nothing right now," Raditz replies, looking around intently. "Over there," Broly calls out before Goku is almost hit by a blast to the back of his head. His Ultra Instinct allows him to swerve right out the way of this incoming blast, and he then transforms, entering basic Super Saiyan to give himself just a little extra protection. This also allows him to use a greater portion of Ultra Instinct. Blasts come firing in at the group from a single point, and many of them get hit in different places. These blasts hit their vitals and cause some moderate damage. However, they came prepared and have Senzu Beans, which they don't use just yet. When they need them though, they will most definitely resort to ingesting them. Broly sees the source of these fast beams and launches down a green ki blast with a roar. Just in its base form, the power of this blast totally destroys a forest beneath them. The explosion smoke thins to reveal nothing of substance. There is nobody within the crater and its rubble, then they look back up to see Granola facing them. "Tell me, can you Saiyans turn into grey tapes?" he asks. All of us except for him. He lost his tail. "Why?" Goku asks, quite confused. Granola chuckles before making his stance. "You'll need that power if you want to face me," he declares. This statement of his makes Vegeta chuckle. "Broly, Kakarot, step back for now, we'll take it from here," Vegeta says. The 3 destruction users stand side by side with their arms crossed, the original Saiyan team of Frieza's empire. They all simultaneously enter Super Saiyan Blue before charging ahead. As Vegeta and Raditz continue forward, Nappa dives down to pick up some rubble from the crater beneath him. Vegeta lands a clean shot onto Granola, but the fighter doesn't move much upon taking the first attack. Raditz comes in from beside him and lands a clean kick to his left flank before throwing a sequence of punches and kicks to his body. The collected force behind these attacks pushes Granola a few inches away at most, but that's all it does. He just turns to Raditz and lifts his index and middle finger, showing off his red cerulean right eye. He shoots a blast onto one of Raditz's vitals, crippling him. The shot didn't seem that powerful initially, but the blast causes some significant damage. Nappa from below chucks up large rocks the size of boulders, then detonates the flying rocks once they reach close to their adversary. Vegeta and Raditz are forced to retreat as large explosions are given off. To add to the destruction, Vegeta chucks in his Big Bang attack only to see it get knocked out of the cloud of smoke. It lands on the planet's surface a few kilometers from them, releasing an explosion akin to a nuclear blast in size. "Is this all you Saiyans have?" Granola asks, clearly quite disappointed. "You know what, I'll defeat this arrogant fighter," Raditz shouts, lifting both his hands. He shouts and begins powering up to the very maximum. His power grows and climbs until he begins using Super Saiyan Evolution. "Double Sunday," he roars, shooting the 2 blasts at Granola. The being catches the 2 blasts and takes them head on, pushing at them with all his might. Raditz roars and begins flooding every ounce of power that he has into this attack. The 2 beams of energy widen and become more intense until they totally overwhelm the Cerulean. They engulf him, and Raditz smiles upon seeing the blast pass through a cloud in the faraway skies. His hands are steaming after the release of such a powerful attack, but Granola is revealed to be almost totally fine. He has a few burn marks on his clothing and a few marks of dirt and heat on his skin, but that's pretty much it. Just who is this guy, Goku wonders, watching the fight more closely. He thought that Moro would be the be-all end-all of villains that they'd have to face. He couldn't imagine a foe growing much stronger than that because they'd be stepping into God of Destruction territory. I mean, they already all have when taking into account other gods of destruction besides Beerus, but Beerus is still a very hard challenge to overcome for many of them. How? Raditz wonders, before receiving a punch to one of his vitals. He wheezes in pain, then Vegeta rushes in to try and attack the Cerulean, only to receive a heal to a vital near his shoulder. He coughs blood while retreating and holding his shoulder. Goku feels like he needs to take over now, but both Raditz and Vegeta tell him to stay back. "No, we have this guy," Raditz shouts down. "Don't you dare try and intervene, Kakarot," Vegeta orders, waving Goku away with his only free hand. Goku grits his teeth in annoyance at the ignorance and arrogance of these two fighters. Just because this fighter seems to be quite a challenge for them, they aren't willing to let him help them. As Granola turns his attention toward Raditz, Nappa flies up with as much speed as he can muster. He isn't flying extremely fast, but he is picking up a lot of kinetic energy and momentum behind his movement. He lands an upward punch straight on Granola's chin, but this punch does very little. He receives a single punch to one of his vitals, also making him almost fall from the skies. He starts uncontrollably descending, but he controls himself to make sure that he doesn't fall all the way down. Is this what the Saiyan race has become? "You all pale in comparison to I, and you Saiyan dogs will pay for what you did to my people," Granola shouts, aiming his two fingers at Vegeta's heart. With his cerulean right eye, he knows he is aiming at just the right place. He gets ready to shoot the attack, but before he can, Goku arrives and swipes the blast away. It leaves a bruise on his arm, but then Vegeta punches Goku and rushes past him. "I told you not to interfere, Kakarot," Vegeta shouts. "Did you not see him pointing toward your heart? He was trying to kill you, Vegeta." "Even if he tries to kill me, it won't matter because I won't let him," Vegeta boldly replies, launching forward with rage. He throws numerous punches and haymakers that Granola either seamlessly evades or blocks. Granola is just too far above these destruction users, and if they want to prove to be a challenge, they must try other options. Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue evolution, covered in his own blood and panting, is still ahead Granola. The other two destruction users don't want to see him get pummeled, but they know just how persistent and stubborn the Saiyan Prince is. Even if he's getting his head bashed in, he doesn't desire help from anybody else. "There's no use in continuing to fight, weak Saiyan. You are simply postponing your demise," Granola states. "You think so? You think you can take down the Prince of all Saiyans?" Vegeta asks, as his hair switches to purple. "There's no way," Raditz says, watching this happen. Vegeta roars and begins using his Ultra Ego state. His aura crackles with purple lightning and looks just like the aura of Beerus. "Let me show you the true power of destruction. You call your form Ultra Instinct, so I shall call this form Ultra Ego. The key to destruction and the key to ultimate strength." He cackles before charging right at Granola, landing a straight knee to his chest. The force of this attack is way more than any attack that he had thrown previously. This throws him back quite far, but Granola springs right back into action and unloads several devastating attacks and precise ones at that. Vegeta coughs out blood and is still getting quite injured from these blows. However, he then shoots down his hands that he's clasped together and hits them right on his head. It seems like he has gotten even stronger, and Granola even holds his head after taking that blow. Vegeta spins slowly, building his momentum to then kick Granola downward. As he descends, Nappa chucks across a boulder the size of 10 people. With this blast, Vegeta just smiles before shooting it downward. He clenches his open hand into a fist, and the rock is turned into pure energy in a bright destructive detonation. The smoke clears and there is nobody left in the center of the smoke. Vegeta raises a brow upon seeing this, as he didn't think that the blast would totally vaporize him. Just as he expected, their foe is not done yet. They can sense his ki coming from another point this time, as he appears totally undamaged. "You surprised me, saying I didn't think you'd have any power left in you," Granola says, before shooting a sequence of precise blasts onto Vegeta's various vitals. The overall damage caused by these blasts is so great that Vegeta is reverted to his base form. Ultra Ego isn't even enough to take him down. Seeing this happen, Goku teleports to get Vegeta, then teleports away. He then feeds him a senzu bean to give him an immediate boost to his power. Goku raises to meet Granola's level, and so does Broly. "Granola, we are not your enemy. I'm aware of the tyranny of the Saiyans many decades ago, but the Saiyan planet is no more. We are all that remains, and we are not of that nature. We are not warmongering beasts." "Of course you would say that," Granola shouts, shooting a ki blast straight at Goku. Luckily for Goku, the laser-like beam misses him since he incorporates Ultra Instinct into every form he uses. Goku then enters UI Omen, and beside him Broly begins using full power Super Saiyan. His hair becomes green and he has already ascended past the man stood beside him. The two fighters are about to move forward, but then Minato arrives. Luckily for them, he explains to them how Bardock, Goku's father, actually saved his life. After hearing such a story, Gas is revealed shortly after with the power that Granola received. He is now the strongest in the universe, above even Broly and Granola. Full power Super Saiyan Broly gives even MUI Goku a run for his money, and that form of his is well below his Super Saiyan God state. Granola is then a step beyond that, and now this being is a step beyond even that. The fighters don't immediately know that though, and Granola just shoots down a precise beam of ki. Gas creates a pitchfork and shoots it forward. It cuts through the incoming blast, making the several fragments of this blast explode around him. The pitchfork hits into Nappa first, digging deep deep into his gut. The several blades reach deep into his body, but he shows vigor and resilience. He screams and removes the blade from his body before chucking it to the side. "Don't worry, I'm fine," he says to his friends, before Gas already arrives in front of the various warriors. He slashes Nappa with another created pitchfork, then digs the sharp end into his chest this time before moving on to his next targets. He creates a wide range of weapons like sharp swords and daggers, then rains them down on the group. Before it can reach the Saiyans, Vegeta enters his Ultra Ego form once again, and Vegeta and Raditz clench their fists. The weapons explode after moving mere inches and shoot the group downward from the shockwave released. He roars and charges at the regal looking Gas that blocks the sun out from view. He throws punch after punch onto his muscular frame but can't seem to do much. Gas drives his fist into his gut, then throws a combination of attacks that the others just can't stand to sit back and watch. Broly is the first to head over there, and Broly zooms right past Vegeta in full power Super Saiyan. He throws a number of punches, all of which cause no substantial damage. However, this is nowhere near Broly's full power. He screams and enters his Super Saiyan God form, making him much stronger. The very first punch he throws in this form forces Gas back, then he chases after the warrior at full pelt. Gas struggles to even handle his intense assault, and he just seems to be relentlessly harassing him with devastating attacks. His punches and kicks all have immense impact, and Goku decides to rush in to help his fellow Saiyan. Both warriors shoot down a punch simultaneously, shooting Gas through the skies incredibly fast. A massive shockwave is released that makes their hair flow wildly, and Gas looks quite furious. Just as he comes to a stop with both of his activated eyes, Granola shoots a precise energy wave right at the man. He can't react in time and is hit by the blast right on. After these number of attacks, he has several bruises and his clothes are almost totally scorched. He is panting and looks furious. Goku and Broly wait vigilantly to see how he's going to react. Once this happens, he grabs his headpiece then rips it off before cackling. Gas begins shifting and activates his hidden power, becoming significantly stronger. Broly remains confident as he basically hasn't fought somebody that can subdue him easily except for Whis. Broly clashes with Gas, who smiles upon taking his immediate clash. They trade blows and seem similar in strength. As the fight continues though, they can see that Broly is incurring far more injury. The two fighters punch each other in the face simultaneously, creating significant distance between them. Gas is breathing intensely but looks to be exhilarated by the fight. Broly has blood coming down his face from cuts on his forehead, and blood is even coming out his mouth too. Vegeta arrives by their side and Gas just wipes the blood from his mouth. He laughs and just glares at them with his irisless berserk eyes. "We need to use the power we've been training. Vegeta, combine your Akari power with this form. It's all we have to defeat this guy," Goku says to his friends. He's lucky that Gas doesn't look all there right now and he can't really understand what he's saying. Vegeta looks reluctant and just stands there with his arms crossed. He doesn't even reply to the Saiyan, then Granola arrives by his side. He made the same wish that I did. He wished to become the strongest fighter in the universe, so he should be stronger than us individually, but together he can't beat all of us. "No, he might have been stronger than us Saiyans at the beginning of this fight, but we grow as we battle," Goku replies. Goku then begins shouting and Gas tries to go in to attack him. As he does though, there is a bright light and release of energy that stops him from moving forward. The other fighters have to retreat upon watching the Saiyan become so powerful and so bright. Goku's silver eyes flash golden then return to their usual silver. His tail waggles as he continues to power up, and Vegeta feels motivated to do the same. Broly powers up as well, and the three Saiyans reach the top of their power to break their limits. If they want to beat this fighter, they have to break through the ceilings placed above them. Goku's aura flashes lime green and fur grows over his body. He screams at the top of his lungs as this silver fur covers his body completely. Now he has mixed the power of Ultra Instinct with the Akari state to form a newly powered form. Vegeta's body coats in purple fur and his hair grows slightly. Broly's hair switches from red to blue and he achieves his Super Saiyan blue form for the first time in this fight. This is also the first time he's used the form in his entire life. The three Saiyans now stand side by side with extremely large auras. Their power seems boundless and they all stare down the berserk Gas. As soon as the light dies down, the wild beast charges at them to try and attack them. He has completely lost control of his mind and only seeks to cause as much damage as possible to those ahead of him. He first attacks Goku, who takes the first punch that hits him right on. As Gas snarls at him, Vegeta hurls a miniature Beerus ball at him with his attention diverted. Gas shakes his head after taking such an explosion and looks furious. He rushes right to Vegeta and throws two straight punches. He lands both attacks, but the Saiyan Prince remains unmoved by the attacks. He just stares down this young warrior before throwing a wild punch onto his chest to launch him back. Before he can even attack the heater, Broly takes over, and now that he is 50 times stronger from this new form, he totally dominates. He throws attack after attack, making Gas cough up blood while also breaking his bones with his strikes. Goku appears beside Broly and the berserk Gas just decides to attack him instead. In such a powerful form, there's no way that he can land an attack on him. Goku continuously dodges the attacks that come his way seamlessly. Now that he has given his Ultra Instinct a stronger body to work with, it's like he can't even be hurt at all. I wonder what I should call this form. I'll call it Saiyan Instinct, Goku says, before dipping under a kick with his arms crossed. A mixture between the divine power of the angels and the brutish power of the Saiyans. One of the strongest powers ever achieved by a mortal. Just as Gas' leg hits nothing but air, he is hit by a powerful punch from Broly. The three Saiyans take turns to land blows on this fighter and his body is quite clearly weakening. His body is aging and Gas is getting progressively weaker, which makes his beatdown even more brutal and savage. The three fighters are stood around the weak fighter, who they can tell doesn't even have enough strength to face them anymore. He even barks back at the fighter since that's pretty much all he can do. He's lost his energy and power. "Allow me," Vegeta says, lifting his furry arm to place a hand in Gas' face. "Hakai," he states with a bold tone, causing a bright flash of light to appear. There is an intense release of energy and all that is left is dust. Gas has been defeated at the hands of the three strongest Saiyans in the universe, Goku, Vegeta and Broly. The fighters return to their base forms, confident from the limits they have broken. With Frieza dead and gone, he hasn't actually had time to go and train to become Black Frieza. He was never actually revived at the Tournament of Power since he never participated. The fighters are met by no such foe and rejoice at their success. The remaining Heaters are way too scared to even think of confronting these fighters and leave the planet as quickly as they can. The Saiyans receive great praise from Granola for helping him take down the fighter, and he also apologizes for misunderstanding their character. They aren't barbaric tyrants, but valiant, benevolent heroes. With this, the final arc of Dragon Ball Super is over and peace has been returned to the universe once again. So that will conclude the final part of What If Goku Was Reborn with all of his memories. I hope you enjoyed this series and this slightly longer final part to close it off. Tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next one. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.